the ask. There we go. Going live. 3, 2, 1. What's up, folks? Welcome back to another stream. We have returned. It's me and Batman here. As you can tell the title, there's some good topics of discussion here today. Before we begin, of course, if you've been around, you know what we're going to say. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already. It's greatly appreciated. We appreciate all the support. There's one stream in particular that almost has 100K views. That's insane. We appreciate you guys for that. And of course, make sure to leave any suggestions, folks, for future streams, any ideas you might have. You know, the more the better, the more the merrier. But there's plenty of topics here. Of course, if you're new to the stream, the way it works is you ask questions, we answer. Super chats get priority. Or if you become a member where I post exclusive content as well, you get priority. And make sure to subscribe to Batman and Shinobi. Between us all, there's plenty of content to keep you guys entertained. And also on a variety of topics as well. So it's not just anime, there's other topics as well, clearly. And yeah, this should be a good one. There's already pre-established live stream questions that have been asked. And if you guys would like yours asked ahead of time, you can join my Discord or ask in any comment section of any video a question for future streams. We get more in depth on those, and it also results in a more thorough answer. So yeah, let's keep that in mind. But getting straight to it, folks, feel free to ask questions while we do this. The first question was about the expansive True Seeking Orb databook scan. Someone was asking me about the translation and whether the legitimacy of the translation allows me to deduce that Kaguya is universal. This is my answer to that. So despite the contentious translation of the Japanese language of the original databook scan, even if the actual translation included the word universe, that would simply be a hyperbolic statement, as Kaguya's performance against Team 7 clearly shows she is not universal, being damaged by individuals such as DMS Kakashi and Sakura. And unless you presuppose that those two are universal, Kaguya is not universal as a result. So at best, you could scale her around solar system level if you conclude the dimension she was about to absorb is solar system, which is very plausible because you can see several visible celestial bodies in the dimension. You see a couple planets and what appears to be like a moon. So a universal classification is very unlikely.
No, it's not the case. Yeah,
and there's just essentially nothing empirically to substantiate it. You could you could wank the dimension that she's in and say that it's a universe, but there's no way to substantiate that at all. So the data books, to further add to the fact that it's contentious, the data books themselves are certainly filled with hyperbolic statements in various instances, such as Tamari's wind blowing away the universe.
It's also universal level, Tamari.
So because of that, that allows us to have to question each statement's literality, resulting in us having to scavenge the narrative for empirical feats to determine whether a statement in the data book is hyperbolic or hyperliteral. So, in short, Kaguya is not universal, more than likely. Is there some sort of arbitrary level of argument for it? Yes, but I think it's very, very unlikely that she's universal. So,
like the best way to think about it, there's a difference between Kishimoto blatantly emphasizing it's hyperbolic. I mean, because even when you look at the data books, it can be either more in black bolds or the whole figurative message it's trying to convey. It's blatantly obvious. Yeah. There's a difference between Kishimoto doing that or literally giving a description of what actually is going on, or or basically what is literally happening, right? He'll make it blatantly obvious if a character was universal level. It wouldn't even be something to think of. He would make that crystal clear to understand.
Yeah, I mean, he's very pro lore. So what he does a lot of the times in data books as well, he'll use very, very peculiar statements like, "Oh, pain is a god," or he'll say, the Sharingan can see all things in the universe. Those are lore establishing statements, and obviously it's not hyperliteral at all.
No,
we see
Sharingan that's the case users. Pain beats everybody if we take that literally.
We literally see Sasuke not being able to perceive people with a Sharingan. So if he could see everything in the universe, why would that be a problem? It's clearly not hyperliteral.
Literally,
it's clearly hyperbolic to establish lore, right? Because the Sharingan's really cool. That's the reason why he writes the way he writes. Pain is literally not a god. If not, he would have destroyed even Six-Tail Naruto without a problem. Clearly, he's not a god, literally. He is very powerful, which is why that hyperbolic statement is utilized to sort of illustrate that.
It's more of the aspect that he's just so strong.
Yeah,
that's what it's mainly supporting, that he's a really powerful, formidable threat, and that's why it's saying that as a hyperbolic whatever. It's not meaning literal, he's an actual omnipotent fucking god.
Yeah, exactly. It's clearly hyperbolic. Gods in that universe would never lose. It'd be like
And
Whis in the
then
Dragon Ball universe. Clearly not
yeah,
the
and then
case.
back
Yeah.
to the Kage thing too. It's just like what Jay was saying. The whole like she's getting beaten up like a Kasha out of Zipu, and they're blatantly not even universal level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the whole solar system thing, like what you guys also need to understand is her technique could potentially maybe be like solar busting or whatever, things like that. But it doesn't mean that correlates to her entirely in its form of scaling too. And as for instance, like fucking like let's say you have Goku as a character, right? To
Yeah.
where his spirit bomb is fucking crazy strong, whatever, and can do like all this crazy shit, right? But not his body can do that. So all because he can utilize a technique that can do all this shit doesn't mean he can do it or scale to that himself. Because
Yeah.
that's why he's
Exactly.
doing the technique, right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So to sit here and say like Kage is universal level or some shit, that's pretty crazy. I mean, there's nothing definitively or nothing
Exactly.
enough even possibility wise to suggest that that is the
Yeah.
case.
Because
Um,
yeah, universal classification is a premise you can create, but like I always say, every premise has an arbitrary level of reliability, and that one
yeah,
has one of the lower levels of reliability. Saying she's solar system, there's much more empirically to suggest that it's not as a outlandish a premise as compared to saying she's universal, multiversal, whatever people say these
yeah.
days. That's not the case. Most likely, Dragon Ball on conversely shows planets being destroyed. It shows microcosms
All of
being shook. Like that's blatant
definitively,
feats.
yeah.
Yeah, the infinite void being shook by Jiren and
Or
MUI
not
Goku.
even
Like
that, like Beerus and Goku's half-ass god form, just from a
yeah,
punch that they're
shaking the
shattering
universe.
or shaking the universe. That's blatant like scaling for a
Yeah, it doesn't
character,
get
and
it.
we're not seeing any of that
Yeah,
with Kaguya
now that's
or
hyper literal.
the
That's a hyper literal feat, like in your face.
yeah.
So what's going on, Legend? Damn, I haven't been here for a while. Thanks for coming in though.
Jay Snowhawk asked on my end. He said, "What about the Momoshiki Universal feats? You know what
All
he's
right.
referring to?"
Oh yeah. So first of all, the novels can be considered non-canonical because one of the writers of these novels stated that the one and only true story is the original comic. So that
Hmm,
alone puts the canonicity in question. I think they're not canon, to be honest. I think the
gotcha.
only canon pieces of literature are the anime, besides obviously excluding filler, and
Yeah,
obviously the manga itself. But I think I know what you're referencing. What it's if I'm not mistaken, what the novel reiterates is that he's creating dimensions. Dimensions are not created equally, meaning sizes are not equivalent. A dimension can be 7 times smaller than our universe, or conversely, it can be 7 times larger than our universe, which the Dragon Ball universe 6, actually is 7 times larger. So, not all universes are created equal. Hence, not all
that's
dimensions are created equal. So, that doesn't prove that he's universal at all. And again, I don't. The novels aren't canon either. So,
And
that's
not
my
only
point.
that, like
So,
just even in the movies, which are canon, the anime, which is also canon, and the manga, which is also canon, when he's presented and shown, there's no emphasis of that. There's nothing
yeah,
to indicate that he's some universal being or
not
something.
at all. Yeah.
And even if like I get like maybe if you want to still argue like oh like his dimension shit or maybe his techniques that he does, certain things that he has that could be universal, whatever. I sure that that's maybe something you could try to do. But like once again, all because he hasn't, it's just like the whole spirit bomb thing. That doesn't mean it equates to him directly, because
Yeah.
clearly not. Like he doesn't have anything for just himself. But yet in base, he's so fucking trash. Motherfucker's getting dog washed by all these like he's getting having a hard time with the five Kage, fucking you name it. Like even they said, oh, we should have just brought a Taijutsu specialist to beat his ass,
Exactly.
and that
Yeah.
means they were more likely thinking of Lee. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but base Momo, there's no way. Like, you know what I mean? And then we eventually see Fuse Momo, which is him sacrificing his other dude or whatever, and that's where he's actually starting to become more of a threat and a problem. And even with all that, there's just still nothing that he has to kind of indicate that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like at most planetary for sure,
Yeah.
right? But
Oh, for
not
sure. Yeah,
fucking
for sure. Planetary. Yeah.
universal.
No. Yeah. There's just not
So
enough of that. Someone asked, why is Demons Kakashi or Sasuke being universal as well an issue? That's like saying why isn't classifying Saitama as universal an issue? It's an issue because there's nothing to imply that. There's no empirical
yeah,
pieces of evidence to suggest that. I could say Saitama is universal, but there's nothing to prove that currently. That's just pure speculation, which is not a very valid source of logic. It's not a
you're getting into
valid.
hypothetical territory right there, bro. Like,
Yeah. Also, Base Monoshiki has an expansive redshift in the anime, which is proof of a universe. Again, not all universes are created equal in size, so you can't prove that. You need energy comparable to the Big Bang. How would you measure that? That'd be interesting to try to substantiate that too. To create one which is universal, what do you think of this? Again, not all universes are created equal. Dimensions vary in size all the time.
Yeah.
Even
I don't think
saying,
you guys understand that. Like our universe is way different compared to basically like what is demonstrated in other fucking not animal animes or whatever, where they literally have certain different sizes of universes that are
yeah,
just small,
dimensions,
large, etc.
yeah, dimensions are not created equally. That's like saying every dimension that's ever been established or created is equal in size. That's obviously not provable, and because it's not provable, you cannot consider that proposition to be a positive
What does
truth
that
value.
make Obito universal?
Yeah,
Because
like
he
he's
can do
commonly
dimensions
dimension.
and shit.
Yeah, no, absolutely
Like,
not.
well, because he can do dimensions doesn't make you fucking universal.
Yeah, not at
Like,
all. It's all speculative. You can speculate, but you can't prove it. So
and
that
you,
would
like
be,
basically what we're saying in a nutshell, like sure, you could speculate whatever this and that, yada yada, try to argue in the possibility things, whatever. But I'm telling you right now, with that type of stuff, you're gonna be sitting there for hours upon hours debating that with somebody.
yeah,
And I mean, like it's just that's something you can never be able to prove definitively. And then when you analyze everything that we have in a nutshell, when it comes to feats, I mean, which is the most important thing, and further statements along with that, there's just nothing to indicate that that actually is the case and true.
if
And
they,
like I said, with the whole spirit bomb thing. All
yeah,
because you have something doesn't mean that makes you the same. That's like
yeah,
saying Goku is as powerful as his spirit bomb. That makes no fucking sense.
yeah. Someone said the only person in Naruto verse as universal is Shibai. There's a very good chance that he'll be established as universal. Yeah, but
Oh,
right now
he'll
there's,
start getting to that probably.
yeah.
Yeah,
Once they
yeah.
do introduce him, I wouldn't be surprised if he's universal. Right now, there's nothing on him except lore, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. I can't prove that right
Like,
now because there's nothing on him, but yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah. You said since Shiba is confirmed 4D, I don't feel like it's crazy to think that the high end people could be in universal level.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot to mention Momoshiki's dimension was stated to be parallel to Naruto's universe. Parallel means equidistant in size. No, it doesn't. Parallel means that one dimension of a dimension has the same length, right? Parallel means the length is equivalent. There are other dimensions to a universe, such as width, height. There are other dimensions to it. Parallel simply means the length. Actually, that doesn't even prove the length. There are parallel lines that are not the same size, by the way. You could have a short line parallel to a longer line.
Matter of
Doesn't
fact,
mean
you
that
made
they're
a
equal in
video on
size.
that. Very
Yeah, I made a
slow on
video on
some
that
parts,
actually. If you
actually.
look up on
Like,
Google, parallel lines, you'll see pictures of lines that are not equal in size, equal length. So not only is parallel a word to describe a unite dimensional analysis, but the lines do not got to be equivalent in size to be parallel. That's incorrect,
and
mathematically
once again,
speaking.
what's the
So
context behind these statements? Like, is this a form of exaggeration? Is
yeah,
this or that? Like, what is all this? Like, because that's another thing that's also really important. Because if we're over here just misconstruing the context and it's clearly not trying to make it, like as we were saying before, to be exposed as a hyperliteral plane, it just doesn't work either way.
yeah,
You
there's
know?
no blatant scaling, and parallel does not. Again, the definition semantically does not mean equal in size. There are lines that are parallel; they're not equal in size. That's incorrect. But Shiba is too strong.
And
Motherfucker's
then
in the wrong
again, like
verse. It's
Dragon Ball
true.
Z, like, are we seeing them have universal feats? Are we seeing them actually fucking do shit? No, we're not seeing any of that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I don't get it.
yeah. I've discussed the semantic definition of parallel before. Yeah. Shiba is too strong. He's in the wrong verse. Hey, you're right, man. I think there's already people that are too strong already, like fucking Ida, using a global genjutsu on the whole world. Too
Yeah.
strong, man.
Like I said, we've seen definitive and plenty of planetary feats.
Yeah, plenty.
We've
Yeah,
seen plenty of that shit all day, every day. The games, you name it, etc. What's it called? But when we start talking about, fucking multi-galaxy level and all this other crazy or universal on a blah blah, like I just feel like there's isn't really nothing to suggest that it's at that point yet. There's
yeah.
just
No,
really nothing. I'm
there's not enough
sorry.
blatant. It's
Like there's
a
plenty of animes that make it blatantly like if somebody wants to make that clear, they're going to do it. And Kishimoto wouldn't
yeah.
fuck around like that. That's
It's
stupid.
it's a theoretical consideration, but the falsifiability of it's pretty high. There's just not enough to make it
There's
a
not.
safe claim. It's very falsifiable, and
Possibility wise, there's not.
via Sagan standard, which is if you have an extraordinary claim that requires extraordinary evidence, there's certainly not extraordinary evidence for Momoshiki being universal or Kaguya being universal. So, but yeah,
I
folks,
guess
any
Rock
questions you
Lee's
may
universal
have,
too.
yeah, any questions you may have, folks, feel free to ask. Do you think it's at least debatable upon interpretation? Yeah, yeah, it is
Oh, of
debatable. Yeah,
course.
yeah, it's not.
Absolutely, yeah.
There's not a 0% chance that these individuals are universal. It's a theoretical consideration, but I think it's very,
Yeah.
very weak, though, a very weak one. So
Yeah, you can definitely debate it all day, every
yeah,
day. If you're just good enough to debate something, you could obviously do it.
yeah,
So yeah, that in a debate sense, absolutely. But let's
yeah,
say you have like two high tiers, and I do believe this firmly, and one's advocating for the other, and the other's advocating that it is. The one that's advocating that it's not is more than likely going to take that because there's just not an abundance amount of evidence to
yeah.
prove that notion.
It's like the
There's
equivalent
not.
of you're in a court of law and you have a lawyer with a plethora of
Yeah.
empirical evidence, and you have another lawyer that's the same skill level with very little. The one with the empirical evidence is going to win,
Yeah, no
despite
matter
their
what, it doesn't matter
yeah,
how equal you are or better you are, they're
yeah.
just gonna win.
Despite despite the equivalence in skill level, it won't matter because one person has an abundance of empirical evidence, while the other has barely any, and less
But it's
valid
understandable. We'll
rational.
admit that. We're
Yeah.
not calling you guys idiots or
Oh no,
anything.
yeah, no, no,
Like it's
not at all.
completely reasonable, understandable. I just blatantly I disagree, and I don't think that's the case at all.
Yeah, like for Dragon Ball, the case flips. It'd be hard to prove they're not universal now. Like they're
Exactly, it's the
shaking
opposite. Yeah.
microcosms. Yeah, it'd be harder to prove that they're not. Almost impossible because Goku barely discovering God keys, shaking the microcosm with Beerus. I mean, current Goku fucking would probably destroy the universe. So, uh, but at this point, Shibai might as well be uni. Ada and Damon only has a fraction of his DNA, and they already become like solar. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Shibai's universal, at all. So he's the god of the Otsutsuki, and these Otsutskis have been
It could
shown
probably
to.
even be greater than that. We just really
Yeah,
won't know. Who
he seems to
knows?
be like a concept of power, like not just an individual, but like a force of nature. So yeah, he's extremely
Like I'm
powerful.
like at the end of the day, out of everyone I've seen so far in Boruto, because I'm not finished yet. I'm like on episode 174 now.
Yeah,
But what's it called? I have not seen a single fucking character yet to show those qualities
yeah,
or
none at
some
all.
level that they're Galaxy plus level or Universal plus. I have
Yeah,
not seen shit, and
it's
I
just
think
hard.
Jay's way ahead of me in the manga, and you name it. And if he's still saying nah, like, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's not
But
enough for anyone besides Shiba. There's nothing on him yet, so we can't say anything about him. I
and
do think he's
Naruto is
gonna
my
be.
favorite too, by the way. I'm biased for Naruto in a sense, right?
Yeah,
So like, if I could even like see something that's definitely definitively or even indicating a high possibility, I'm gonna do that all day, every day.
yeah, for
Like,
sure. Yeah,
Dragon Ball Z, like what I mean, it's blatant, clear, right? For Naruto, we haven't had anything yet, so I just
yeah,
can't
not
can't
on
do
that
that. I'm not
scale.
gonna
That's
sit here and try to say now Naruto characters can beat Dragon Ball Super or something because of this, theoretical or speculation type of bullshit.
yeah, it's the scale that you need to execute a feat on is much grander when you're talking about universal. Like when you have people like Vegeta constantly saying, "Yeah, we can't fight on this planet. We're gonna destroy it." Like it's very blatant how high these guys scale. It
Yeah,
doesn't happen in Naruto. You don't see that instance.
we haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's just not the case. It's a theoretical consideration, yes, but it's a very falsifiable one currently. So, but yeah, folks, any questions you may have, and make sure for the guys that just came in, make sure to hit the like button. The more likes, the higher we get in the algorithm. It's greatly appreciated. The more, the better.
And the
Um,
main problem too, Jay, is because the ninja they're humans too. They have
yeah,
limitations as well. Like
they
yeah, they
definitely
have
do.
a certain alien component, which is AK chakra, right? But even with that, like what I mean, like they can't fucking like be able to breathe in space and shit. At least I don't think they can.
Yeah,
Like they still have certain human components, and there's plenty abundance amount of science also indicated with Naruto too. So like with all those limitations, etc., you name it, unless they can have something that could defy those limitations and allow them to go beyond that,
yeah,
there's just like there's that too.
yeah, exactly. Someone asked, "Do you guys like that Shiba is more a force of nature currently, or do you think Kishimoto will go a different route?" I think that my prediction currently is that Shiba will be another persona or sort of entity that's similar to the
Like Sage
Sage of
of Six
Six Paths.
Paths.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think he's
Yep.
gonna have that sort of role. I'd be surprised if you see him coming down to Earth and fucking sparring Boruto. I'd be very surprised if that happens. It just doesn't
Yeah.
seem like this concept of power
Uh,
coming down and sparring with people. I don't think that's gonna happen. I might be wrong. Maybe Kishimoto says, you know what, Shibai is a literal combatant that's gonna fucking go, toe to toe with Boruto or something. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna be like the Sage of Six Paths, a force of nature that can do miraculous things, like during the war when the Sage of Six Paths gave Naruto and Sasuke Six Paths powers. Um, I think he's gonna have that kind of role. If I had to predict currently, he just has that similar lore to the Sage of Six Paths too. He just seems like this conceptual entity that transcends everybody. So that's what I think is gonna happen, but I could be wrong. So um,
uh,
I've heard some people say when you translate Shibai's name, it means acting or something like that. Do you think there's something weird going on with Shibai? What does that even mean? Let's see. I might actually Google Translate that. What does Shibai mean?
Naruto can breathe in space, and Suzuki can. Yeah, I know the alien. Suzuki, they're aliens. I know that. Naruto, he's a little bit of a different exception if he's using the cubic cloak and everything. The nine tails, like that's could be more than the reason why. I'm just saying, like, if you got like base Naruto or whatever, he's just sitting on the moon as a normal dude, not using chocolate, blah blah. Like they're fucked, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're definitely not human physiology. They're beyond that, but definitely not enough
yeah.
to conclude that they're universal. It's insane. So, highly doubt that. Shibai in English is let's see. Translates as play or dramatic performance. Oh, okay. I see where they're getting this from. Japanese theatrical performance. Play or a dramatic performance. Yeah, he's gonna have a special role. Clearly, I do tend to think he's gonna be a conceptual entity rather than another Madara or something or Ishiki. So
Unless Kishimoto decides to pull like a crazy okadoke, and then like instead of making it the same direction as Sage of Six Pass, and he actually like makes this man come along to like actually do shit
yeah,
instead. Like then,
that would be
which
wild. Yeah,
I'm be honest that he might do that just to switch it up, right, and to catch us
he,
all completely off guard.
yeah.
But
Like Boruto would
you
have to
know,
reach an insane amount of power to make it even make sense. If Shibai is as
yeah,
powerful as they say, and Ida is just a fraction of what he is, I mean, this guy's he's probably soloing the whole verse without even lifting a finger. I mean,
yeah.
Boruto is by far way too inferior currently. Kawaki's too
Like
inferior.
I think what would happen if he does come into place as like the big bad, right? If that does happen,
Yeah,
then basically Boruto is going to have to somehow, some way get incorporated with whatever that shit you guys said it was called. What starts with S.
Shinjutsu. Yeah,
Yeah, like he's going to have to do something with Shinjutsu and incorporate that with what he is as of now, and maybe evolve into something that will allow him to get into that realm. Kind of like Goku, where he went from Super Saiyan then to trying to learn now God Ki and shit.
yeah.
Right? That's the only way he was able to fuck in that
You'd have
realm.
to, yeah,
So
you have to
that's
reach
why
like this
uh,
sort of like evolutionary stage that's kind of similar to KCM Naruto, where he reaches new
yeah,
heights. Boruto's gonna have to have
exactly.
some, if he even wants to contend. I mean, even Damon, I think it was the last chapter. Damon said, "Hey, you should keep training so we could fight, so I could actually try it." And Boruto literally said, "Dude, I'd have to train lifetimes to catch up to you." Like, and that's just Damon, fucking toddler with a fraction of
That's
Shibai's
crazy.
power. And he said, "That takes too long. I would have to fight. I'd have to train for several lifetimes to ever fight you at
He
full
says
power."
that?
Yeah, he literally says that. That's how
Wow.
inferior he is to fucking Damon. Damon's a fucking kid. It's fucking insane. Like these two, Damon and Ida, are already like leagues, several leagues beyond Boruto and Kawaki currently. It's not even close.
That's
Now
crazy.
Shibai is full Shinjutsu. Like he is Shinjutsu itself. He created it. So I don't know how the fuck he'd have it. Right now, it would be nonsensical.
That
He'd have
means
to be a
even
concept.
Sasuke and
Yeah,
Naruto
nobody.
would get shitted on.
Yeah,
Wow.
everyone. Yeah, Ishiki would have to bow down to him. Everyone. He is the god of Otsutsuki. So he
Damn.
is Shinjutsu. Yeah, that guy probably is universal if I had to guess, but we'll have to find out about that. But yeah, folks, feel free to keep asking questions about that. We have some other pre-live stream questions here. This one I won't get too far into because we could debate this in the future, but I'll talk about it a little bit. Tuning exam Rock Lee versus tuning exam Sasuke. I'll give a slight answer because again, I might debate someone on this in the future.
Mm.
But basically, stay in the data book that Sasuke is the strongest opponent Gar's ever faced, meaning he is superior to tuning exam Rock Lee. It's pretty blatant. This could be a possible debate topic, like I said, so I'm not going to get too far into it. And I do have a video where I get more in depth, top 10 in the tuning exam. I get pretty in depth
Yeah.
on the Rock Lee and Sasuke comparison if you guys want to see that. But yeah, Sasuke wins that. So
Unless you think Neji is Joning level,
yeah,
and
unless you start like
Neji is
really whacking
also
Neji,
great.
yeah, and yeah, you'd have to.
Uh,
It's more speculative the logical strategy used to argue for Lee. You could argue for Lee. I probably could have
Hey,
wanted to, but
at the end of the day, though, Jay, you gotta be real. That was some crazy Neji scaling, though.
yeah,
Shit.
that's pretty bad. Yeah, I don't.
Like
I
I've
don't agree
known
with
some
that.
high balls. I've known like certain other Neji scalings. I even set myself to advocate, devil's advocate,
Yeah,
and whatnot. But like, holy shit! Like all of that motherfucker was.
yeah,
He
that
was
was.
going with Neji.
Yeah, Neji's definitely not Joni level. That's absurd.
Man said he destroys Lee and everything. I was like,
No.
wow.
He wouldn't be shitting himself when he saw the fourth gate if he could destroy him. I doubt that. He was like, "How? How is he this fast?" I'm like, "Oh, someone Joni level is sweating? Come on, man."
Yeah.
Like, Kakashi and Guy were just chilling.
Even
Like, oh,
Kakashi,
yeah,
like he even went to use a Sharingan.
yeah. He was like, oh
You know what I
shit.
mean? However you want to
Yeah.
take that, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna sit here and say maybe like Kakashi would have to use a Sharingan to beat Lee, whatever. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
no, no, no.
crazy,
Yeah.
but the fact that he was using his Sharingan, you know what I mean? Like maybe showed like, oh, that's he was kind of just to like perceive Lee in a way. I guess I don't know. Like it's just more like there's way more for Lee than Neji. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just way more,
Way
bro, in
more
comparison.
empirically, yeah. So
Like,
Boruto would sort of do something like Piccolo fusing with Kami, essentially Batman. Yeah, Boruto would need an epiphany, like some sort of evolutionary stage where he has Shinjutsu, where he can contend with. If he can, first of all, he needs to get past Ada and Damon. He is so inferior to them that he admits that it would take him several lifetimes to even compete with them. So if he's that
yeah,
far off from them, I mean, between the gap between him and Shibai is so vast. It's like Madara versus the Shinobi Alliance, and that's probably an understatement. That's how large the gap is. So what's going on, Sir Goats? Thanks for coming in. Let's see here. I think Shiba has more powers that are not known. Oh, for sure. I'm sure of that. I'm sure there's way more powers that he has for sure. The Jogan will make up the gap. Hey, yeah, we could utilize that. Have him evolve thanks to the Jogan, reach new heights. Currently, he just doesn't stand a single chance. He's absolutely out of his league. So, but yeah, folks, feel free to keep asking questions here. Let's see here. Someone asked another question. Someone said, say that the world of Naruto was more advanced like during Boruto. So throughout OG Naruto and Shippuden, do you think the wars and culture would change drastically or be more or less the same? That's a good question. This is what I would say about that. Implementations and battle strategy would certainly change, and there would be a technological arms race where opposing nations and entities would fight for technological superiority, as that would allow them to exercise power with tools that, as we know in Boruto, allow you to do things such as absorbing ninjutsu, amplifying ninjutsu, etc.
yeah,
Hence, battle would evolve into something else entirely, with technological warfare being a factor, and it wouldn't come down to, oh, which village has the strongest shinobi now. It would come down to, oh, who has the best technological advancements. Konoha will probably have the most, because they have most of the brains. Most of the most intelligent beings are in Konoha. So it would be like technological warfare. You'd see armies of shinobi with tech, absorbing ninjutsu, amplifying ninjutsu. So it would be much different if there was tech during OG Naruto. I think Naruto would have a different childhood. Sasuke would have a different childhood. Sasuke would probably go to tech to kill Itachi with. There's a bunch of things that would change. Yeah, not gonna lie, we need to see the Otsutsuki planet if we want more lore and world building. Yeah, I would like some more canonical chapters on the Otsutsuki history, for sure. I would definitely enjoy that for sure. Shiba is 40 minimum. That means he has infinite speed and is blatantly multiversal without question. Yeah, I gotta see more on him, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just leagues above everybody else, which he probably is. So, but yeah, Boruto's in a hiatus. Unfortunately, we won't get a new chapter for I think till August. If I'm not wrong. I think that's the case. All right. Let me check if Batman is still with us.
yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, I was fucking I was texting something real quick.
Yeah.
Somebody was capping on a server.
Base Minato versus EMS Sasuke before he gets amped. So I'm assuming you mean beginning of war arc EMS Sasuke. EMS Sasuke is relative to some arbitrary extent to Edo Itachi. Edo Itachi was competing with Keishimo Naruto, and then he blitzes Edo Nagato. I'd probably lean towards EMS Sasuke. He has a Susanoo. His reaction speed is higher than 5 Kage-sama Sasuke, who was reacting to the Raid Kage pretty well. They're pretty relative in terms of that. So I would lean towards EMS Sasuke. It's contentious nonetheless. But I would lean toward EMS Sasuke being faster than base Minato, to be honest. You could probably argue for the other side too, though, to be fair. So, let's see. Which anime world would you like to live in? One as a human and one as a top 5 strongest guy. If as a human, definitely not in Naruto. It's a fucking shithole. If you're a human, useless ass fucking civilian, get your ass blown up or something by Natsuki. So not that. Not Dragon Ball. If you're a human, you're complete fodder. Every day you're on Earth, you're at risk because there's constant universal threats now in current Dragon Ball. I have to think of a universe. Maybe one of the more chill universes in anime. Attack on Titan's a shithole. That's a living hell. I wouldn't want to live in that. Maybe Death Note. I mean, I'm not a criminal. I'm not a high-profile individual. Kira would never find me. Kira wouldn't even know who
Bruh.
I am. So probably Death Note or something like that. Just a regular verse where I could just chill. I'd probably see it on the news. Fucking Light Yagami or Kira killing people left and right. That would be cool to see in real time. It's probably some.
Yeah.
But as far as where I'd want to be if I'm a top 5 person in the verse, honestly, probably Dragon Ball. I'd be like if I'm a top 5 in the verse, if I'm in Universe 6, I'd be up there with Whis, Beerus. Well, if we exclude the gods and angels, I'd be up there with Broly, Goku. So I'd be a Saiyan. Probably Dragon Ball. It's constant combat. So yeah. Do you think Osutsuki's came to Earth and used omnipotence to change stuff about the Shinobi history? With that being a possibility now, I wouldn't count that out. It's unlikely that Kishimoto reiterates whether that happened or not. I think he's going to introduce that now. I doubt the Osutsuki changed history prior to, Ida doing it herself to the world with her omnipotence Shinjutsu. So I would say no. I don't think that's the case. Again, there's no way to prove that, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. Right? Kaguya came to Earth, gave birth to children, right? The Sage of Six Paths and his brother, and then history continued. I doubt she rewrote history. If anything, she would have done it when her sons were challenging her. So I would say no. Probably not. What's going on, Chung? Thanks for coming in. I think it was fucked up that the Uzumaki sealed Korama on the Kushina with a ball of lava burning on his back. Yeah, the tailed beasts were ostracized and demonized. The tailed beasts, like Kurama said, were seen as monsters, as demons. So it was a form of, not racism because it's a different species, speciesism maybe, that they were displaying towards the tailed beasts, especially when their history of destruction, such as Kurama, when he attacked the village thanks to Obito's manipulation. It is fucked up though. I agree. Let's see, still waiting for the go ahead to set up your debate with Kent. Oh yeah, I gotta look into that. There's some debates between us though, me and Batman, me and Shinobi. Those are coming soon, so we will be debating each other. We asked you guys whether you wanted it recorded or streamed. You guys said recorded, so we'll record those, post them. You guys decide who you think wins. Some interesting topics that we will debate for real. This will be an actual debate where all the tools come in. Oh shit, Sir Ghost with $20. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. I'm gonna put that on the screen real quick. You know how we do it here. Give me a second, folks. Put that on the screen real quick. Appreciate that, Sir Goats. Being a goat as usual.
Those 3 scans you saw earlier in the bat signal thing, Jay, with pain and shit. What's it called? There's a typical Cox tutorial that just types things like, "Oh, Batman using knowledge claims as a form of evidence," and that doesn't prove anything.
What the fuck? What does that even mean? Never heard of knowledge claims.
Basically, he was referring to, guys, for context. There's these 3 flat-out scans that blatantly say base Naruto's nowhere, like anywhere, like just blatantly, severely way weaker than Pain, and that he needs to acquire Sage Mode to even contest with him. And then Naruto's like, "Oh, would that be enough to beat him? It's like avenge perfect Sage," and he's like, "I don't even know if that would be enough. Like that's just there you go. You know what I mean? Like
yeah." So Sir Goat said, "I found another anime with other than Full Metal Alchemist. I'm starting to watch Fire Force. Never heard of it, but I definitely gotta start watching some new anime for sure. Some for just for entertainment. I do a lot of research subconscious research while I'm watching animes like Naruto. Always noting power scaling aspects, Dragon Ball. Sometimes I do want to watch anime just for entertainment. Put this power scaling aside. So
yeah, that's what I do. Fucking like I'll watch it for entertainment, whatever you name it and whatnot. And then like if I'm ever gonna scale whatever, I'll go back and rewatch it, especially if it's good enough, right? Because who cares?
Yeah.
And then I'll just go back, get whatever I need, or anything that's clearly good, whatever, and then bam, just move forward. Yeah.
Like Attack on Titan's a good example. Like you could scale it, fucking scale Levi and stuff like that, and the Beast Titan and stuff. But I watched it mostly because of entertainment. That's not exactly a power scaling based system when it comes to anime. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's
And
Titans that
Levi,
vary.
he's just built different. That
Yeah,
motherfucker.
Levi is that guy. Yeah, he's the greatest soldier and probably the
Nobody is near his. Like, I'm sorry, there's
yeah. No.
nobody that even remotely
As far as
scales to him in that
human
sense.
Titan, human Titan
Yeah,
hunters, he's the epitome. Yeah,
yeah.
Levi Ackerman's the guy. The next one up would
Fucking
be
Itachi.
yeah, literally Itachi of that verse. Mikasa would probably be second. She's an Ackerman as well, but those
Yeah,
two.
yeah, I get it. 'Cause that's what it was. It was like their Acumen DNA,
Yeah,
right? That's why he was like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Levi is like genetically predisposed to protect the their village and genetically predisposed to slay. He's just genetically superior to
Actually, not even that motherfucker. Like Minato. I'm not talking about that
yeah
man moving so fast where
calculated.
he could shred a whole arm like instantaneously into
Yeah,
nothing.
when he soloed, almost soloed a whole army of Titans and the Beast Titan, he never killed them. That was extremely impressive because the commander of the the soldiers' force basically led all of them to their deaths as one
Yeah.
last stand, and it really hit Levi deeply, and he soloed all the Titans. It was probably a good dozen or so, and then he almost killed the Beast
Mm-hmm.
Titan. That was extremely impressive. I was like, wow, this guy soloed a whole army by himself.
No, that like it was from I forgot what it was from OVA. I don't remember, but it was like basically showing his origin story,
Yeah.
and like he sees like one of like his close loved ones like get killed or whatever, and like he just immediately snaps and like fucking oh my god, that man was just moving so fast.
Yeah,
He like cut up that Titan like and it was
yeah,
just gone. It was just nothing but blood.
yeah.
That's how fast he was moving and cutting him.
He's as dangerous as some of the strongest Titans. That's how powerful he is. Like he's a fucking threat. Him and Mikasa are just the biggest of threats.
He was
Um,
insane.
yeah, that was one of the best narratives I've ever seen. Period. Not just anime, but ever. I've never.
And it was
Yeah,
interesting because he was just the only one in that ballpark too.
yeah. He
Like
was the
it's
only
the
one
first
really
time
in.
for an anime where they
Yeah,
don't really have anyone to contest either.
yeah. He's just
Like,
superior. Like even in,
flat
in
out.
the in the heat of violence, in the heat of swarms of Titans, he can compete. And the Titans, the smarter ones, know that. It's like, yeah, this guy's a
Yeah,
threat. Like they actually prepare
that's
for
him
him.
without a Titan too. You know,
Yeah,
like not even a Titan himself.
yeah. Like the Titans themselves had to prepare for his presence. So like, all right, Levi's here. We got to be ready because he'll fuck us all up. Like that's how powerful he is. He's one man. He's not even a Titan. So the Naruto versus just a messed up place to live in. Motherfuckers getting killed. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live there if I'm human. Hell no. I'm gonna get slaughtered. Lamb. If you're a human, you're lamb. You're just a lamb to the slaughter. That's all you are. Fire Force is about a boy named Shinra who joins the Fire Force, which are basically superpower firefighters fighting fire demons called Infernals, and he has a similar backstory. That sounds like a pretty entertaining premise. Yeah, I gotta find new animes for sure. I'm just waiting, counting down the days for JJK, and of course Bleach. I'm waiting for those, man. A couple months away, so gonna be very, very entertaining.
But now, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been so long, and I'm gonna rewatch the whole thing.
Yeah,
The Titans, I feel like that's more of the whole contentious attribute when it comes like comparing all the Titans to each other and
yeah,
who
that's
wins
the
and
most
this and
contentious
that.
for sure. I
Yeah,
think
that stuff's interesting.
yeah, there's the Beast Titan. There's the
Yeah,
one, the one that could call more Titans. The one that Aaron sort of inherited,
the
or
armor
yeah,
Titan.
the Armor Titan's a problem, big problem. The Colossal's a huge problem.
Like with the Beast Titan and Armor Titan, who do you think takes that? Armor, right? Is that
That's a good
crazy or
fight.
no?
Uh,
Am I
that's a
tripping?
really good
'Cause
fight. The
I
Beast
know
Titan
the
would,
Beast Titan is like super fucking smart. So I feel
yeah,
like if
I would
he,
say the Beast versus the Armored, hand to hand, the Armored would probably beat him down, probably beat him to death. The Beast would have
he
to
wouldn't do
use.
that.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wouldn't do that. I think the Beast would have to utilize it. The guy that I forgot the name of the guy that is the Beast Titan, but he has a really good arm.
Yeah.
So if he could throw rocks like when he was slaughtering all those
Oh yeah, and
soldiers,
chip it or yeah,
yeah.
that is like
If he
weak
could start
points or
chipping,
something.
yeah. If he throws theoretically hard enough to chip his armor, then it's possible that he could kill the armored Titan. It'd probably be a battle of attrition. He'd have to outlast him, which he has a good chance. I think he has a good chance of doing. The Beast Titan's a problem. Um, as far as the strongest Titan, I think I forgot which one it was. It was one that had like a hammer power. Aaron got the power. Well, Aaron got a bunch of powers at the end when he started the Rumble.
Aaron's like a fucking.
He's a
From my
monster.
memory, cause I'm so behind, so I don't know how even more stronger. Because I'm assuming he gets even stronger and
Oh yeah, yeah,
stronger.
yeah. He gets
But
stronger,
I
stronger.
do know his power is always fluctuating. Like he's just
Yeah,
all over. Yeah.
especially at the beginning when he's trying to master it. It's kind of a.
Then
It's
he has like a rage, kind of like Naruto. Like it's like a QB type Titan
yeah.
thing within him or something.
It's
Yeah.
very like super like Saiyan esque. Like the rage fuels him.
Makes it more powerful, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then he has to refine it later on in the narrative. He's like, "Fuck, I need to be able to become a Titan voluntarily." And he starts to work on that.
Yeah.
Very Saiyan-esque, like when Goku and Vegeta were trying to hit Super Saiyan. Very
Hmm.
Saiyan-esque. Like he has to master his temper. He needs the right why to become a Titan.
Yeah.
They did that very well, developing Eren, not just his physical powers, but his ideology. Once he did the Rumble, it's like all the cold, cruel events that he experienced led him to become this like cold character that said, you know what, I'm just gonna destroy the
I
planet.
heard that. Yeah, I heard that. It
Yeah,
was the opposite effect of what we typically see with
yeah,
the protagonists. You know, what I mean, like with Hero Academia, with Deku or Naruto. You know, where they're
yeah.
always in the
He,
that
yeah,
don't give up, positive light. You
yeah.
know,
He
like
definitely lost that fuel because he was very idealistic at the
okay,
beginning. He's like, yeah, we're gonna save the world, and now he's like,
yeah,
this world isn't worth saving. I'm gonna cleanse
it's
it.
more realistic if I'm
Yeah.
being real with you.
To him,
And,
yeah,
you
it
know,
is more
like
realistic. He
there's
wanted to.
only so much shit you can put up with. You know.
He had a very like I don't want to say Hitler-esque ideology, but he wanted to cleanse the world. That's his whole
Oh
thing.
wow,
He wants
he's
to.
doing genocide. Holy
Yeah, he
shit!
wanted genocide. He wanted to cleanse everybody. And obviously,
Damn, he definitely changed.
yeah, a
Fuck.
lot. Yeah, all the
From when
death
I
that he
last
saw.
watched Jay, it was when they were at the beach and they're like,
Oh yeah,
"Wow,
yeah,
like."
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who knows what, this and that. That's where I
Oh yeah,
last
yeah,
left
yeah.
off.
That's when he was still like young, naive Aaron. Later on, he
Yeah.
matures into this fucking. He kind of reminds me of Madara, like a nihilist. He's just very. He's
There's
done.
so
He's like,
much experience,
yeah,
trauma, darkness. That's it.
it
Yeah.
consumed him. It's kind of a. It's very cool the way they made him evolve. It was very
Yeah.
well done. I liked it. Like all of the trauma and trials and tribulations led him to become that, to this like dark, nihilistic, philosophical person that has decided the only way to cleanse this world is to exterminate most people. So
Yeah.
very well done. But Minato or Itachi, who has more potential between those two? That's hard to say. It's hard to say.
Yeah. It's hard.
Like a hypothetical healthy Itachi, man, that'd be a threat, big threat, to
Like,
even
better yet,
Minato.
like, Itachi, he even had the feats as an Edo. He's over here competing against someone that's in the scaling of Yellow Flashman.
Literally,
So,
yeah. I
you know.
honestly probably Itachi. Probably Itachi. Minato, we saw him reach his prime. Well, arguably when he fought Obito. He wasn't. I wouldn't say he's at his full prime yet, but he was starting to peak. Itachi, we never saw
That's
that.
hard.
Yeah, that's tough though.
Like,
Yeah,
I'll say this, like, it depends on how you analyze it, right? Because they're both built in a similar capacity. And basically, like, what's interesting is, like, Minato, he was gifted in a sense of like, for one, making a jutsu himself, right?
yeah,
That was impressive. Two, acquiring other techniques that, like, nobody has ever mastered, like once in a blue moon, aka the flying rise, you name it, etc. All this other sailing shit. Well, Itachi, what he was just so great at is, for one, he was just so talented and gifted as himself. But what he did is he took the gifts that he already had and just basically extrapolated from that and just made it explosive, right? Like
yeah,
his Genjutsu was ridiculous. You know what I mean? His Sharingan ridiculous, and the MS insane. We're getting Susanoo in all its stages to the point where he has all that like just crazy. So it's like I guess when it comes like the core value of it, you know what I mean? Like they're just different in their own ways.
yeah,
Like, but it just depends on how you're comparing it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
If
Their
that makes sense.
arsenals, yeah,
You
they're
know?
hard to compare. They're both, prodigy entities, but they have very
Yeah.
different. They have very different arsenals, very different
And
stories.
Minato was smarter. We can give him that. He
Yeah, he's
was
probably
smarter.
smarter.
You know,
Um,
he had the best scores in comparison to Itachi.
yeah,
So
their potential is the sky was the limit for both of them. But
yeah,
Itachi, I mean, he just has more feats than Minato, so by default,
yeah, Itachi. Yeah, it's just no matter what, like Itachi wins it overall because of feats and you name it, etc. Like even as a kid, he was just ridiculous. Like he was
exactly.
fucking. Like as a kid, he had the knowledge of already of what it was to be an Okage, just right on the spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Here and just flat out says it.
yeah,
And then basically like he has all this shit he's doing as a kid. He's stronger than Jonin. It's like he has all these feats, all this crazy shit. And the only thing we ever remotely see of Minato when he was a kid, are technically older as a kid, so it's still even worse for Minato. Is the whole saving Kushina scene where he's like beating up like these ninja wanna that could either be maybe Ambu, Elite, Jonin, Tuning, who knows, right? We
yeah,
know they weren't getting because they were trying to steal Kushina from the Hidden Leaf and bring her to the village, whatever, blah blah. Um, but That's about it. And then you compare everything else Itachi has, it's like I don't know what to tell you. Itachi was literally led into the exams by himself too.
Yeah, there's
While
just
Minato had a
more.
team,
Yeah, like we said earlier when we were discussing rationalization, when there's more empirically for someone else as opposed to the
Yeah,
other, you're gonna by default go with the person that just has more feats. Itachi has more
yeah.
going for him.
He just has
Um,
way more. Yeah.
yeah, so full power prime Itachi, that guy would have been capable of who knows, man. Maybe being the number one shinobi on Earth, even above Obito. Um, until we get
Shit, and
until we get to six
fucking
pass powers, of course. But
like,
yeah,
bro, like if he actually was able to stay alive somehow, like let's say he didn't die or whatever, um, like obviously he would eventually run out of his light, right? So he wouldn't have an MS or you know what I mean, or even a shotgun anymore. But even without a shotgun, that motherfucker would be really fucking
yeah.
strong, you know?
If
Like,
Itachi was written a little differently, like if he really was evil, he would have EMS. He would have ripped the eyes out of his
oh
brother.
yeah,
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 and
yeah, he would
then
have
he'd be
EMS,
unstoppable. No one's stopping on Earth at the current point in time to the war. No one's stopping him.
or
He's
better yet,
unstoppable.
if he wasn't given that fucking sickness shit, you know what
Yeah,
I mean, out of convenience. And even if he was to like let's say he decided to go differently and not allow Sasuke to kill him, right? To somehow figure something out, the truth, whatever, or figure something to where he doesn't have to end up dying, right?
yeah.
Then realistically, Itachi, it is the potential. He could have potentially took his father's eyes
He
and
could have.
eventually used them
Yeah,
when he needed it.
he
He
was
could have
too.
done that,
Yeah, he easily
you
could
know.
have. He just honored them. He was very noble. That's why he
Yeah,
never went the
you
next
know.
step. He would have been fucking unstoppable. I don't think. I don't know
But
who
if
would
he
have
was
beat him.
thinking of like survivability, you know what
Yeah,
I mean, or like to guarantee like him and Sasuke can be able to continue on to Uchiha, I could see Itachi coming to a reasonable conclusion to where he could potentially take that just in case that's for either self defense or just for the survival of their clan, right?
yeah.
Something like that, or like just something along those lines. I could see it because that was kind of always within him, anyways. Like the whole Donzo shit, you name it, to where he was always willing to do whatever it takes to ensure the survivability of himself and others, right?
Yeah.
Um, so like I don't know, you could do that too, but like yeah, but no, if he was either way, what we're saying in a nutshell, if that motherfucker was granted an EMS somehow, whether he's bad or good, oh my god,
Yeah,
the sky's the roof. That
no
man would
one's
be the
gonna beat
next
him.
Madara, basically.
Yeah, the only people that would beat him would be like KCM 2+ people. Even that's contentious with EMS. So, what's going on,
Yeah.
Shinobi? Thanks for coming in. Shinobi himself is in here.
Now thinking about it, Jay, he basically would be the next Madara, but the only difference he just wouldn't have anywhere as near as the chakra and stamina volume
Yeah,
that
and
obviously
he
him
wouldn't
and
have any
Hashirama
threats. There would be no
have.
Hashirama to beat him, so
Yeah.
he'd be unstoppable.
And
Shinobi
it
said,
that doesn't even matter because chakra control is fucking god tier.
yeah,
So
his target control is very good. His Genjutsu would just get even stronger. Was going to ask Honey Badger versus Wolverine and Elephant Sea versus Seal versus Walrus. Honey Badger versus Wolverine.
bruh.
I think Honey Badgers, they are,
Honey badgers are built different, right? Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard so much about them.
they're known to combat with snakes constantly. In fact, they slay. It's very contentious between the two. Um, I would say the honey badger. I just think that they're more effective killing machines. Wolverines, I just don't know much of their history. I don't know, what.
Yeah, I don't know anything about a Wolverine.
Yeah, honey badgers are more aggressive, I'd say. Naturally speaking. So
I've heard such a legendary lore. Like I'm gonna be real, like this. Basically, what I've heard so much about these motherfuckers that they sound like a goddamn Madara in the Animal Kingdom.
yeah,
like they're just crazy strong
like
somehow,
looking
and they
at the
can fuck with
different.
shit that you would never think they could be.
Yeah, so looking at the differences, size, who's bigger? Wolverines are actually bigger, okay? But Wolverines are faster, okay? Bite is unmeasured. Okay, so the Badger's bite is not has not been measured, so we can't establish
Oh wow,
that.
yeah. See, they can be able to kill and chase young lions
Oh
off
wow,
kills. Honey badgers, by the way.
yeah,
They've been recorded killing buffalo, wild beast, and waterbuck.
yeah. Badgers
That's
just seem
insane.
they
Yeah.
just seem naturally more predatorial, more aggressive. I would argue better combatants. Wolverines might have some physical advantages, but I'd probably go with the Badger, probably. Wolverines are bigger though. I wouldn't be surprised if they win a fight. Most instances, I'd probably say the Badger. Elephant seal versus a walrus. Walruses get pretty big. Elephant seal versus walrus.
Yeah, and I just even looked further. Like it said that for a honey badger, its teeth, although smaller than the Wolverines, would very likely be able to penetrate the Wolverine's hide.
Yeah,
And then would not be able to kill. Oh, it says they would not be able to kill the Wolverine by biting it to death, though. So he would have
Yeah,
to like do enough damage or some shit or
that'd be
whatever, blah
difficult
blah, to
actually.
kill him.
Yeah, they are smaller. Um, let's see. As far as the elephant, seal versus walrus. Walruses
Mm.
have tusks. They can be over 3,000 pounds. Jesus. Elephant
Mm.
seals are massive too. They weigh around 3,700 pounds. Elephants are more docile by nature. Okay. I think the tusks might give the walrus the advantage. It'd be a tough time
Oh,
for either one to
damn.
fight, but
Okay. I
yeah,
was reading further into this shit. They said one of the ways the honey badger would do this, because it's in character,
yeah.
is it would rip off the Wolverine's genitals,
Oh
thus
God,
causing it to bleed to death.
it probably would do that. That's
Or
definitely
both die, prolonged mutilation or something like that.
yeah,
So they basically said either they both die or the honey badger would more likely win because they just go to such extreme measures to win a fight.
yeah. They're aggressive. They're very like high
Imagine biting
energy.
someone's dick off.
Oh God, that's something a badger would do too. To be
Oh
honest.
shit.
Uh,
They're worse than pigs. They will eat anything and everything they can get their greedy gobs a hold of.
yeah.
Okay.
Uh, I know Itachi's better, superior to, and Sasuke really puts in perspective how much Itachi was holding back. He was always holding back his whole career until obviously Edo Itachi. Yeah, he was always holding back. He was always lying to people, trying to put on an act that he was actually, a global terrorist that had malicious intent, but in reality, he was undercover, protecting the village at all times. He was always undercover, always holding back. I mean, Minato as a youngin was kind of. I mean, Minato as a youngin was kind of teaching a legendary signing jutsu. Just saying. Yeah, I mean, Minato has an immense potential as well, of course. But again, conversely, Itachi at 14 fodderized Orochimaru, so that's him as a young shinobi as well. Wolverines over Honey Badgers. Wolverine, I could see them winning. They're bigger, stronger. Where does Orochimaru actually stand? There are certain statements that say Sasuke surpassed him in the war arc, aren't they? I think Soigetsu's statement when he says you barely surpassed your mentor is incorrect. Um, I highly doubt that Five Kage summoned Sasuke was inferior to Orochimaru. Um, I think that's
It
a
doesn't make
very
any sense. Like,
yeah
how can Itachi be blatantly over Orochimaru but not EMS Sasuke?
yeah
Like,
it's
what?
bizarre. It's very bizarre, and I don't agree with that line of scaling. Soigetsu doesn't. It's not like he was around. He was incarcerated until Sasuke let him free anyway.
It's more of a bias, like,
Uh,
thing to get you. It's kind of like the Kasame shit all over again.
yeah
Like, Kasame and Suigetsu had such a high regard for the Sonic. Like,
yeah
they really thought they were fucking. And not only that, like, the rat god himself, even Noodles, has even, like, explained this as well. That when it comes to the Sonic, that they're highly, highly exaggerated in a lot of bias functions when it comes to characters like Kasame and Suigetsu.
yeah. I would
I mean,
say
and statements like this is plenty enough.
yeah. Orochimaru is mid tier Akatsuki. He's like around Datara Sasori level. He's in
Yeah,
that ballpark. He's not EMS Sasuke level. That's like around Itachi level, which is not the case. So
no,
Itachi fodderized
none
him
of them.
at 14. I mean, he was a kid and he fucking fodderized him. And
Jiraiya
now,
wasn't even on Payne's level. Like,
yeah,
yeah, sure, he had that one statement, like, oh, if he knew our secret, whatever, blah, blah. That's more likely basically indicating that basically, if he knew, like, he was alive, whatever, then Jiraiya would have never taken the time to fight the Pains. He would have just tried to look for Nagato or some shit, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yada, yada, yada. Or, like, I don't know, some other bullshit, but it's blatantly shown in the fight that Pain was over Jiraiya, yada, yada. And et cetera, et cetera. Like, when it comes to the Sonic, they just can't fuck with the upper tiers like Obito, Pain, and Itachi. They're not on that level.
Yeah, exactly. It's that empirically that's just not the case. And to the contrary, Orochimaru has anti feats that suggest he's not Itachi level, which EMS Sasuke is relative to. So,
And then
you got
Minato was always advocated to be even above the Sonic, too.
yeah, exactly. So, do you guys think that B was relative to Minato because he pushed the Raikage out of the way during Minato's attack? No. Minato didn't have honestly Minato didn't have bloodlust intent. He certainly wasn't going at full speed. He was trying to cut down the Raikage, sure, but he wasn't as I would say stressed or
Yeah.
bloodlust
He
as he
talks with them in the end. Like,
yeah
literally, after everything, he's like, yeah, man, I like you guys, whatever, blah, blah, but please recognize what's most important as the show. Like, he didn't even want to kill them. He
nah
respected them and acknowledged them
yeah
and basically said, like, you're at my mercy, do better, basically. Like,
yeah
it's just blatantly emphasized.
if you look at the urgency between the Obito fight in comparison to the Raikage fight, it's clear
Yeah,
where he's more urgently reacting. Against
not
Obito,
the same at all.
his son's life was on the line, his wife's life. He was fighting with a higher level of urgency as
Yeah.
in comparison to conversely to
It
the
was
Raikage
blatantly
and the
showed it
Killer
was
Bee.
competitive. It
Yeah,
wasn't competitive or Raikage or Killer
it wasn't.
Bee.
Yeah, he was sort of like casually testing their ability. That's why he allowed the Raikage to get as close as he did. He's like, all right, this is how fast he is. All right, let me get out of the way. Let me cut him
All
down
he
a little
did
bit.
basically was whip
Yeah,
his dick out on the table and said, "Oh, okay, he's pretty fast, cool,"
yeah,
and said, "I'm better," and then was kind of playing around with them, and then basically just said, "Like, I like you guys, whatever, I acknowledge you, but please, understand what's most important to be as well, Raikage, yada yada," and just basically talked his shit. Was gonna walk away, and then Raikage is like, "Nah, I'm not letting you walk away."
yeah,
Tries him again, and then he's still like fucking outbests Raikage, and then Killer Bee like was able to react towards the end, and he's like, and then Minato literally says like, "I like you." So there's the whole thing of like Minato's like he just doesn't want to. He's not bloodlusting. He's not trying to kill him. He's not trying to whatever. He's just basically protecting himself enough to where he doesn't be killed, right? And then he was just gonna leave off and go from there. So
yeah. It's pretty blatant. His urgency wasn't very high at all. He was just
and
testing
it's
them.
in character for Minato that when he is bloodlusted, it's blatantly
He's
shown and
cutthroat.
emphasized.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's very
he
cutthroat.
cuts throats, heads. He killed everybody
Yeah,
instantaneously. All of them that he meets, you name it. Like when he wants you dead, he's gonna have you fucking dead.
yeah. He
You know what I mean?
doesn't really cut corners when he's trying to eliminate you. So Minato was definitely just feeling them out. Even showed respect
Even
after.
Obito, when
Yeah,
remember he was trying to do the bring Madara back, and everyone's like, "Oh, we got to get to them and
yeah,
stop Obito from using the jutsu." Minato teleports, slices his throat.
exactly. It's very blatant. So he's cutthroat when he has to be. He certainly wasn't there. Minato was being generous the whole fight against Raikage, but yeah, he was being a
Yeah,
gentleman in that fight. Sort of
yeah,
like a gen.
basically.
It was kind of like an intrinsic, subtle gentleman agreement for him at
And
least. Yeah,
it's further collaborated when you eventually see Raikage against KCM Naruto, to where that motherfucker is dick riding Minato,
yeah,
like fucking beyond just saying like, "Oh my god," like he was just built different. This guy, yada yada yada. Like there was no other shinobi greater than blah blah. All this shit, like he was the top dog, right?
yeah.
And then once he's dead, oh now I'm the top dog, and that's what basically he was saying,
Literally,
whatever this and that,
yeah.
like. So it's blatantly
And it,
shown and emphasized that Minato's over Raikage,
yeah,
etc. Like they did have several fights that is stated in the data books,
yeah,
and Raikage says that too. But all because you have several fights doesn't mean like that means you're equal or can give them a run
yeah,
for their money. There could
yeah.
be context, there could be things we just don't know. It's all off screen shit we don't know.
And obviously, the Raikage is very familiar with B, and he considers himself faster than B. So obviously, B is not
Yeah.
faster than Minato. It's obvious.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, Minato scales above those guys.
And then B, at not only that, in the KCM thing too, B flats out says, like in V2, when Raikai goes see, he's like, oh no, he's going full speed, he's going to kill Naruto. And he couldn't do anything about it. It was up to
Yeah.
Naruto at that point. When Raikai was in V1, he was able to save Naruto, and he used like his Eight Tails hand instead of his normal hand.
Yeah.
Clearly, and he can't block that with his normal attack, by the way. Okay, and then he's like, hey, like, I won't let you kill him. And they're trying to talk whatever and hash out their shit that Minato was trying to tell him from the get go, but he wouldn't listen to Minato. Okay, so like the whole fucking thing right there blatantly just shows like basically chain scaling. You know what I mean? It's very
Exactly. Yeah.
simple.
It's very blatant. Like, if Killer Bee was faster than Minato, Minato would not have dodged the Raikage's full speed. That wouldn't have made any sense. So, yeah. So Minato scales above those guys. It's pretty blatantly clear. It's blatantly implied and explicitly stated by the Raikage himself, who's faster than B, as he says himself, I'm the fastest on Earth ever since Minato's death, implying he's faster than B. So, but yeah, folks. Any questions you may have, feel free to keep asking here. I think that's all the pre-established anime questions. So you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I remember in Ninja Storm 3 game, Ricardo told Casey Naruto that no one has ever surpassed me ever since Minato died. Yeah, I think even in the manga he says that. He's the fastest since Minato. So
Yeah. He says all that shit. It's
yeah,
all there, bro.
yeah, it's pretty clear. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have, feel free to ask here. While you guys do that, I'll discuss the chapter of Dragon Ball, the newest one. So what we saw in the newest chapter of Dragon Ball Super was Broly. We saw the training that Whis is giving to Goku and Vegeta. And they kind of go over the Broly movie again. It shows it in the manga now. They're talking about how Gogeta had to beat him. I'm actually pretty curious to see what Toriyama does with Broly. how is he going to make him evolve? I already know what's going to happen first. We're going to see the Cell Max first, the Cell Max battle first. But after all that's concluded, I'm pretty curious to see what happens next. We'll have at that point we'll have Gohan Beast, we'll have Black Frieza in the mist. So I'm very curious to see what they do. Broly specifically, like how are they going to train him? Will he hone his skills and not simply just be a rage monster? We'll see.
I, I got a question on my end, Jay.
Yeah,
He asked, healthy EMS Itachi versus Minato.
healthy EMS Itachi. Oh shit.
Yeah,
So essentially, if we presuppose that the amplification that he received is similar to Sasuke's and Madara's,
yeah,
then him against Minato would not really be a battle at all. Just think about an
that's what I'm
individual.
saying. Yeah,
Yeah, imagine an individual that's significantly faster than Edo Itachi. That's what he'd be. And Edo Itachi was already competing with Casey and Naruto,
he's
and was
probably
able to.
getting to KCM too at
Yeah,
that point, like relative, not maybe like equal, but relative at that
yeah, he'd be
point.
on that ballpark
Um,
safely. He'd be KCM2
to where he
level.
can basically
Yeah.
like be relative, with Edo Madara, KCM2 Naruto, things
Yep.
like that, and obviously like and I would even say full power Obito too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
he'd be above that for
So,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, he would be too much for someone of Minato's caliber. That's a whole different tier. He jumps
Yeah.
to the caliber if he gets EMS. It's a whole different level.
Minato's basically all we really have is he's just KCM one level. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all we have. The only way you could upscale Minato further is the whole Minato Sensei scene to get him to KCM two, but that's it's not strong.
yeah. That's
That's
more of
like
like that's more of like a symbolic passing of the
yeah.
torch. Yeah,
Like you could argue either way. That's just equal possibility territory. So, like I said, bare minimum, definitively what we do know, and this like he's just blatantly KCM one. That's it.
yeah,
So, and
exactly.
that's because he died early. He didn't have
Yeah,
enough time to get stronger emperor.
yep,
Otherwise, he would have probably definitely got the KCM two or maybe even beyond.
yeah. Who
Like if
knows?
he could do that,
Potential.
if he could get KCM one without Nine Tails just in that amount of time, I know damn well he could probably even surpass KCM two
Yeah,
if he was
yeah.
lived long enough.
If he
So.
actually befriended Kurama like a Naruto guy, we're talking about a guy that's beating fucking EMS Madara. Maybe he'd be very powerful. So
And then he gets like KCM two when he comes back as an Edo and like all that shit, and he's over here like being relative to Sage Mode KCM two Biju Avatar Naruto. That's
yeah,
insane.
that's insane. Yeah, he's a ridiculously talented shinobi. Him and Itachi both. So, but Itachi with EMS would beat him very definitively for sure. If he has
Yeah,
EMS
yeah.
and he's
It's
healthy,
just not
then yeah,
because that means Itachi they also theoretically, which possibility wise, right?
yeah,
What they call he would also have perfect Susanoo because whenever someone gets EMS, they start using perfect Susanoo.
yeah. And
That's
at that
always
that point, I mean, he'd be fat. I think he'd be faster than Minato too, safely. And on top of that, yeah, Susanoo. I mean, he's done for. He's gonna
like
get
what does Minato do against fucking perfect Susanoo?
yeah, he's gonna get sealed probably. I think Itachi
like
would be fast enough to seal him, probably.
Like that yeah, that too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
because like the only defense Minato could have for a Susanoo period is the sealing jutsu, right?
yeah,
That's it. Like, and I know people argue like, oh, maybe Minato could flying Raijin the Susanoo off of Itachi, but I don't think it works like that because
yeah,
whenever we see flying Raijin, whatever it normally touches, that just moves itself. It's not like you know what I mean? Like it's just gonna do the Susanoo only. Like it would take in Itachi as well because he's with that. He's embodied with the Susanoo.
yeah. You'd
So
have to
if
get
he
a
touches the
seal on
Susanoo,
Itachi.
it
Yeah,
teleports both of them.
I
Yeah.
doubt he. Yeah, you'd have to get a seal, like put a seal on Itachi.
Yeah,
Attack
in
him.
order to get inside.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
what you have to
besides
do,
that, he's
yeah.
not getting in there. I
No.
honestly think he'd be significantly slower than Itachi if he has EMS.
And that too, it's just gonna kind of be like the Nagato shit all over again. He just Totsuka Blade, he's dead. Like
Yeah,
I just
exactly. Where does he Hiruzen cap if he fights all the Akatsuki Gauntlet style? Well,
bruh,
he'd certainly completely demolish the low tier guys.
that'd be a
Hidan's
good
getting
video too, to be honest.
yeah, it's a good one. Hidan gets washed. Kakazu gets washed.
Yeah.
Datara probably would be defeated, more than likely. Sasori is where it gets interesting. If we're talking about Old Man Hiruzen, Sasori scales to levels that are even above Hanzo, and Hanzo's spared all the
Yeah,
Sannin.
you have to get Sasori basically below the Sonning
Yeah,
or equal to Sonning, which obviously correlates to Hiruzen in order for that to basically even be fair game, period. If not, and we go through all the shit abundance
yeah.
amount of evidence there is for Sasori to even be Sonning plus, he's in trouble.
Yeah,
So
Sasori would be a problem for him. there's arguments for both sides. You could say
Yeah,
Hiruzen was mentally nerfed against Orochimaru, but actually, what happened during the Konoha Crush arc is that
it's a
at
mental
first
game
he was a
too.
little nerfed, but then when
Yeah,
he started talking about the Will of Fire, he got amped, and
and
that's
he was
what
still
allowed him.
equal.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what allowed him to deal with the Edos, and then try to seal Orochimaru. That's what
yeah,
closed the gap was that mental amp. So I think that Sasori more than likely beats Hiruzen, unless you want to lowball Sasori and say that Sasori, because was successfully reacted to by Sakura, is somehow around that level now. Maybe Hiruzen
yeah.
will beat him then, but I don't agree that's the case. I think that he gradually started to give in, and I think definitely by the end he gave in. I mean, Chio literally admits he could have killed us if he wanted to. So
Yeah.
I think that Hiruzen would get as far as Datara probably, and then Sasori it's contentious. Beyond that, he's not beating anybody else. He's not beating
Yeah, like, and I do
Kisame.
think he would beat Datara because Datara is just an idiot. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
he'd beat
Like, I
Datara.
mean,
Yeah,
like if Sasuke is able to get up close, you know what I mean, Hiruzen could definitely replicate that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So like he could be able to get up close with like he knows all five chakra natures. He's said to know like fucking way more than even I forgot what the number was. I think it was like 100,000 jutsu or something
yeah.
like that.
He like knew.
Well, Nart, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, like he just has so much where you can do range, you name it, this and that. Like I do feel like it would be a tough fight, but I do think he would more likely come on
yeah.
top against
He'd
Datara
probably
because
use some
Datara
sort
is just
of
an idiot.
yeah. He'd probably use some sort of diversion and then catch him slipping like a genjutsu or something. He'd do
Yeah.
something to
Like
Datara.
beginning Shippuden Kakashi was able to respond to that Datara basically in certain methods and deal with like certain basic C ones and whatnot and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You name it. If Kakashi could kind of hang to a degree, there's no way Hiruzen it can't do that either, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah, for
there's a
sure.
thought of like Datara just slams Hiruzen or
Yeah,
some
yeah.
shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, so
So
certainly Hiruzen gets past the lower tier guys. Sasori is where he could win, but beyond that, he's not beating anybody. Kisame,
no,
Itachi, they're all slamming him very easily. You'd have to talk about pre-retcon Hiruzen, where he stated to be the strongest Hokage. At that point, he's beating everyone, obviously. But if
yeah.
we're talking about post-retcon, he gets as far as Sasori, and I don't think he even beats him, to be honest.
Like, and if we're talking about like the 10 years younger Hiruzen or like Edo Hiruzen that level,
Yeah,
what's it called? Then at that point, I think he can more than likely probably be able to beat Sasori.
yeah.
You
At
know,
that
because
point,
he just
yeah,
has so much.
he's stronger.
Um,
Yeah, he probably
yeah,
beats
he's
Sasori.
stronger. You know, he can last longer now. You name it. He was also blatantly over the Sonic as well.
Yeah,
Like he was,
blatantly.
Orochimaru was at his mercy
Yeah,
when he came in there with the Anbu. Um, so that also that Hiruzen, and even Orochimaru says like if you were 10 years younger, like you would just beat my ass, right?
oh yeah, he admits
Um,
it. Yeah, blatantly.
yeah, like so, like there's all this stuff. So if it's that younger Hiruzen too, not even regardless of like the hypothetical god of Hiruzen, I do think he's obviously slamming through Kage hit on, beating Datara. Definitely would probably be a Sasori because now he's within that Sonic plus ballpark,
Yeah,
right? You know, and
yeah.
then
At
when
that
it
point,
comes to like Tachi and Pain and Obito, they just have so much more to where I still feel like he would lose.
yeah,
You
he
get
would
it?
still lose to those guys. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just too. They have too much empirical feats, and it's too vague as far as how
yeah,
powerful that Hiruzen was. Yeah,
exactly. Like, what does
Dangai.
Hiruzen do against Susano?
Yeah, no, there's not enough for him to scale him that high. Dangai Ichigo versus Sage of Six Path Naruto Final Valley. Dangai Ichigo, he's pretty powerful. I mean, he's the one that started to put the pressure on end of Aranko arc Aizen. It's
Damn.
hard to it's hard to scale, like I say, Bleach in general, because you can make speculations, but the author doesn't go out of his way to show how powerful they truly are. We have some instances like Bankai Yamamoto. He was about to destroy an entire realm, which blatantly shows that he's, whatever size the dimension is, he's strong enough to obliterate it and burn it to the ground. But Dangai Ichigo, if I had to be valid and accurate and sort of unbiased as possible, I do
Yeah.
think he's at least planetary. If I'm being honest, I
Okay.
could make some rad argument and say he's dog shit as far as scaling, but I'm not going to do that. So I think that it'd be an interesting fight. I just think there's more empirically for Sage of Six Paths Naruto at this point. I mean, he's fighting Kaguya, he's
Yes.
able to hurt Kaguya. Kaguya's,
Thousands and thousands of clones,
yeah.
sensory,
I would lean towards Naruto now. If you presuppose he can't see Ichigo, because Ichigo is
he's fucked.
he's a Shinigami, he's fucked then. Yeah, he's gonna get fucked
He
up.
could have been. What about sensing him though?
He
Because he
might be able to
couldn't see the
sense him.
limbos, but he could
Yeah,
sense.
he was
Yeah.
able to sense the Limbo clones.
And he could fight the limbo clones
Yeah.
easily.
So
Even though he couldn't see them, he could still
yeah,
fight them equally.
if we
So
presuppose the interaction and we give that benefit of the doubt to Naruto, Naruto probably beats him. Obviously, if you can't see him or feel him, He's gonna die by
Gonna
his
give an
hand.
advantage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he died by his hand. Toe to toe though, I think Naruto's more powerful as far as AP, speed, overall tangible power
Right. Like,
scaling
what does
aspects.
Ichigo do against a big ass tail beast ball?
Yeah, and if there's 2,000 clones that are equivalent in power to Naruto, what is he gonna do
That
against
too.
that? Yeah,
Yeah, they're all equivalent. Like, and the reason why we know that, I'm gonna say this real quick. There's a lot of people that think like the fucking clones are massively weaker, whatever, all this crazy shit, whatever,
yeah,
blah blah. Like, what you guys don't understand, even if a clone could have like 1/10 of the original user, or it could be like, or that it's nowhere near whatever, blah blah. If you use chakra control, you can still be an addict, like what I mean, like strong enough to compete even with the original user.
yeah,
And if you look at all the feats and all the consistency, every time he does that, even as a kid, they're all keeping up with the original. They're all like equal fucking speed and gaming, or bare minimum relative, right?
yeah,
Like there's an abundance amount of feats and evidence that with it, basically if Ichigo's having to fight the same Naruto but 2,000 plus more or even more than that, like what does he do?
yeah. So essentially, even during the tuning exams, a couple of Jonin said that. Well, Neji, I believe, said that the clones Naruto was using were equivalent in chakra. So if we're talking about a fully grown Sage of Six Pass Naruto, he's definitely gonna have damn near full power clones going out Ichigo. Ichigo would probably run out of spiritual pressure. A Dangai form and the final form that he utilizes takes a big toll on him. So simply put, I would go with Naruto. He would outlast him anyway. Even if he has a tough time, he'd still outlast Ichigo. So MS Itachi is relative to Minato, so no. Is War Keishimo Naruto stronger than Sage Mode Naruto? Yes. He admits it actually when he's fighting Nagato. He says, "I'm stronger in this form." He's stronger than the Sage Mode Naruto that fought Pain for sure. What's up? What's going on, Phantom Realm? Thanks for coming in. Thanks for coming in. Yes, Keishimo Naruto. By how much? That's hard to quantify. Clearly, he's significantly superior as far as AP, as far as speed, but as far as the quantification, that's impossible. It's hard to quantify by how much, and multipliers damn near impossible to calculate. So to be honest, I feel Naruto kind of wins because he's more hacks. Yeah, he just has more AP, he has more durability, he has more stamina, etc. He just has more empirically formed to suggest his superiority. Why would he not be able to sense or see him? They can see souls. Some will still go after life and see his arm disappear. Yeah, but you're presupposing that souls in this verse are equivalent to the souls in the Bleach verse. There's no way to prove one way or the other. We'd have to presuppose ahead of time to come to a conclusion. It's inconclusive if you try to to figure those things out. You can't. You have to presuppose one way or the other. So, and the clones can clone themselves. Yeah, Ichigo's dead. Yep, more than likely he falls to him. Yeah. KC1 was blatantly over Sage Mode. The only thing Sage Mode has over KC is better precog. Arguably, yeah. But people like Kakashi and Sakura and so on can see souls. They saw and was talking to Edo Hokage when they were in the spirit forms. So why couldn't higher characters see souls? Again, we're talking about different verses, right? It's not one soul is equivalent to another soul. We're talking about different verses, different properties as far as how power works, how reality works. There's no way to prove one way or the other.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So no matter what, we can't sit here definitively and say, "Oh, therefore for Ichigo he slams, and therefore for Naruto he slams." There's just no way.
There's
That's
too
just
much.
impossible.
Yeah, there's too much arbitrary aspects to it. Now if we're talking Dragon Ball and we're talking pure power. Dragon Ball has so many feats going for it that, as far as toe to toe, they beat a lot of anime clearly. But if we use Bleach fans scaling, Ichigo's 5D. Oh yeah, I've seen some arguments like that. Again, I haven't concluded Bleach yet. I want to wait for the end of Thousand Year Blood War arc anime to be released. But yeah, how much stronger does KCM1 make someone? We could say substantially stronger. We could say this. So prior to KCM1, Naruto was inferior to 5 Kage Summit Sasuke. He admits it blatantly that he would lose, and that was a blind Sasuke, almost damn near blind. He still admitted inferiority. Then when he gets KCM1, he immediately blitzes someone of Kisame's caliber. He's able to outspeed the Raikage's full speed. That just shows you the large jump in caliber that he gets.
It's huge.
It's huge. Yeah, it's a very very large amp. One of the biggest amps in all of Naruto. The biggest one's probably Barrier mode.
Was like not even Sage mode like really amplified in that huge of an aspect. Like the reaction and sensing was no joke. I mean that was like similar in KCM aspects and whatnot.
Yeah.
But when it came to like just raw speed and power, even Sage Mode wasn't really that. Don't get me wrong, Sage was no joke. I'm not saying it's weak or shit,
Yeah.
but as in like a gross aspect. What I mean? Like KCM's just built different, and then now that's it. This blatantly shown like the beginning of Nagato fight, whatever, where like he's like, oh yeah, I'm stronger than when I last fought Pain, and then even Nagato's like, wow, okay, you've improved and blah blah.
Yeah,
So
exactly. It's blatantly stated. As far as quantification, that's impossible.
yeah,
Unfortunately, Kishu.
qualification is just overall just
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like, we don't have the Toriyama type author where he literally gives power levels for a while. We don't have that. So it's unfortunate,
It
but
has to be big. It's definitely
it's
not small.
large.
It's
Yeah.
definitely not medium.
Yeah.
And like for Sage Mode, that would be like a medium growth. Like that man Naruto went from like not even surpassing Kakashi at that point, okay, to basically now like surpassing Kakashi and surpassing the Sonic, you know what I mean? Things like that, and then basically being able to fuck with somewhat in a sense,
Yeah.
against people that are in the ballpark like Obito, Pain, and Itachi. He's not on their level yet, but he can at least fight against them to a degree. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
He's
if he came to defend himself, he could do it for a little bit, and then they get serious, and then he's dead.
yeah. He starts to reach new calibers, and the more he masters this sort of symbiotic chemical sort of relationship with Kurama, the stronger he gets. We see it throughout the war. He gets KCM one, and then when him and Kurama's back are against the wall against Obito, Kurama says, "You know what? Let me give you my full power." Then he reaches KCM two.
Yeah.
He reaches a whole new height where he's actually contending with Obito's
He
speed.
was with Madara
Or even
too.
Madara, yeah, even Madara. Yeah, these are substantial gaps. Some of the biggest in
Like
the
that
whole
was
verse.
like it wasn't like Madara was slamming him or like
Yeah,
or anything like no, like, he was giving him a Madara run for his
yeah,
man. Like they were literally fighting, and the reason why we know this is because they were fighting whenever Madara's doing what everything he's doing, yada yada. But he's literally backpacking and protecting Kakashi and Guy from Obito and Madara from the Susanoo attacks, from Obito's freaking attacks, you name it. And then goes from that to then fucking where Madara just flats out says like I really didn't expect this to be as hard as I thought it was going to be. The QB's power is no joke. Like he says something along those lines. So even Madara acknowledges it. Like this is not easy because he basically told Obito, "You get those two, I'll get the 8 tails and 9 tails," and he was struggling to do it. So like
yeah,
Wisdom 2 is crazy.
yeah. It's a
You
huge
know,
amp as far as
like Madara would
quantification.
have won if we kept going,
Oh
but
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean.
sure. Like, no one was touching him
Yeah.
until like Sage's six
No,
pass.
it's
So
only Hashirama could be able to contest even
yeah,
against that
even
Madara.
against
So
that. So Naruto's clones cloned themselves and stopped Madara's deep forest emergence. That's right, they did. That was pretty impressive. Watching over Naruto versus QB fight, it seems Naruto got 6 out of 9 tails worth of chakra. 6 tails was consistently above Sage mode Naruto. That's true. Naruto gets the chakra added to Naruto's chakra as well. Yeah, it's an amplification. If there was one significant event or person in Naruto you could change, what would it be? Probably Rock Lee's development. I would want to see him continue to develop and become one of the most impactful characters, even in Shippuden. That died after the Chunin exams. His sort of popularity in his most revered arc died with the Chunin exams arc dying. So Rock Lee's up there, man. I think he could have been great. Great character. The Chunin exams, he was a great character, but that died off very quickly. Became sort of this sideline character that would kind of get just pushed back to the shadows and not very relevant, unfortunately. Despite the all-time great introduction we got to him against Gaara, one of the best fights in anime history. But probably Rock Lee's development. I'd like to see him, you know, open new gates, the sixth gate, the seventh gate, maybe even the eighth gate. But we never got that, unfortunately. So, can Kakazu beat Datara? No. Kakazu lost to base Sharingan Kakashi. He lost to Rasen Shuriken Naruto, and these individuals are inferior to Four-Tail Naruto, the same Four-Tail Naruto that was called out of Sasuke's league by Orochimaru. And the person that beat Datara was post-absorption Sasuke, so that's a stronger Sasuke than the one Orochimaru was talking about. Hence, it's very easy to deduce that the Sasuke that beat Datara and nearly stalemated him, implying relativity between those two, is significantly stronger than the individuals that beat Kakazu. So Kakazu would get dealt with by Datara.
Obviously, he's not Sonic tier. That's the
Nah, not at
problem.
all.
He's not
Not at all.
Sonic tier. He's not relative. He's not equal.
Yeah.
He's not mini. And Datara is like the only one. Datara and Sasori and Sasuke, arguably the pre-absorbed Sasuke, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say even normal heavy. What's it called? Those individuals are at least adequate enough, and well, not Sasori, he's a different exception,
Yeah.
but Datara and Sasuke basically are adequate enough in a way to where they're in the ballpark where they can contest against Sonic. They wouldn't beat him, but they can contest.
Yeah.
That's the main
Exactly.
point. And while with fucking Koksu and Data and not Koksu and Data, Koksu and Hit-On, they're not even nowhere near to contest against a Sonic opponent. That's
Nah.
the fucking problem. They're within the ballpark of Jonin ninja. So high tier Jonin, mid tier, low tier, right? They're all within that, and they're high tier Jonin,
Yeah,
Koksu and
for
Hit-On.
sure.
That is what they are, blatantly flat out.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they're able to contest it, people like Akashi, Asuma, you name it, etc., yada yada, things like that. And because of their hacks abilities and their zombie shit, where they basically have multiple lives, right? In a sense, where even if they fuck up, they can either use that to catch you off guard, element of surprise, etc., and that perfectly goes with Hit On because he has a broken hack shit. You just get to scratch your blood, you're dead. So they also have the ability to even be able to potentially beat people that could be stronger than them too,
Yeah.
aka the Two Tails, by the way. What's it called? So like, no matter what, you just have that line of scaling, and it's just blatantly shown. They were struggling with Shikamaru in 2v1, struggling with Kakashi, Hit On was equal to Asuma. Fucking, you have like just all these feats. Fatigue Naruto comes in with a half-ass QB, fucking amp in a sense, and uses 3 shadow clones alone and can deal with Kaku's strongest form. Kakashi literally cuts Kaku's strongest form as well, saving Naruto.
Yeah.
Yamato can push back Kakuzu. There's just so much evidence that they're not within the Sonic tier.
Yeah, it's blatant. Kakuzu, you can't really scale him that high, and you definitely can't get him anywhere near, signing
No,
level. When the people that beat him themselves are not signing level. Kakashi's not signing level, and certainly not
no,
Naruto either. Naruto doesn't surpass that until Sage Mode, and we're talking about
no.
Naruto is,
And
yeah, with a
yeah,
slight
and even
QB amp.
Kakashi
So
says, like, you haven't even surpassed me. And
yeah,
I mean, like, he just tells them flat out, like, you may surpass me if you keep getting training and getting stronger or whatever. At first, he thought that he was saying, like, oh, like, whatever, he's surpassing whatever. But that was just because he was just so dumbfounded by the Rising Shuriken, how strong and all that aspect, right?
yeah,
But overall, like, when it came to it, and he came back to his collective senses, he just flat out acknowledged and just says, yeah, you may surpass me. Like, he
yeah,
just basically comes to the conclusion that you're just not there yet, whatever. And there's that. And that further solidifies, where even like Naruto, even base Naruto too, you know what I mean, is like within that caliber of dealing with, people like Kakasu and Hit On. So like at the end of the day, that's just basically what you're working with. And then we see the whole fight with Jiraiya in Pain. That's just clearly a whole other level battle, kind of signifying the whole Orochimaru here is an event thing, right? And
yeah,
then Fugaku, like the frog, he's seen the whole thing, knows how strong Pain is, you name it, and Jiraiya, right? He's his master. And flat out, this says Naruto, like, you are nowhere near Pain.
yeah. No,
Or,
not at
or
all.
nowhere near. Like, you would just die instantaneously. It's just a lost cause. Like, literally the way he words it. And then and then Naruto's like, oh, if I get Sage, then would that be enough so I can avenge Pervy Sage? And he's like, I don't even know if that would be enough.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
also true when you analyze all the feats and other statements, to where even Tendo Pain, while fatigued, not even at full power, still shits on Sage 1 Naruto.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very blatant that Kakuzu is inferior, even to someone of Datara's caliber. Again, just trying to compare the performances and who they was able to beat them. It's pretty clear that Kakuzu is inferior to Datara. It's pretty clear. So
Yeah,
it's not really even debatable. So
it's,
despite
it's
people
just
thinking,
not at all. The
despite people
only way
thinking,
you
yeah,
could get like Kakuzu is if you were to rat your ass off and be dishonest, and like in a form of a debate scenario, and you were trying to get Kakuzu to KCM scaling. That is the only
yeah,
way.
and that can be shut down quickly. Yeah, that's a horrible argument. Um, let's see. I'll make Naruto's mom live so she can teach Naruto a lot of Uzumaki seals. Minato knew a lot of them too. He could probably teach him if he didn't die.
He
Casey
had
M2's
9 tails sailing jutsu, if any,
yeah,
like to restrain the 9 tails
which
and
is not
seal the nine.
easy. Yeah, KCM2 Stage Mode Naruto, full power versus full power EMS Sasuke. It's pretty implied, or it's fairly implied, that Sasuke's inferior to KCM2 Naruto. Even when he
Yeah,
first sees the
yeah.
power, he's like, oh, so this is what
And he gets
Naruto's
mad, like
done.
he clenches his fist. He's like, "How can he control that much char?" And then when he
Yeah,
sees Sage Mode on top of that, he gets even more pissed. He's like,
yeah.
"How far have you
It's
gone?" You know what I mean?
implied, and I mean, even the conclusion of the war implies who's superior. Naruto was
Yeah,
holding back, Sasuke wasn't. He wasn't
yeah,
trying to kill Sasuke. Sasuke was trying to legitimately end his life. So there is there is relativity. Obviously, there's relativity because they literally mix jutsus together to fight Jubito. But simply put, Naruto is implied to be the stronger of the two, even if it's
yeah.
slight, and he certainly is. And if you look at it logically from an Arsenal standpoint, besides Sasuke being able to teleport him away, how would he kill him? It'd be very hard to take Naruto out. Naruto's
Yeah.
durability is certainly higher than Sasuke's. Certainly.
Oh, the fucking KCM cloak durability is insane.
Yeah,
Even
insane.
being it's ridiculous, dude.
He can get brutally
So,
wounded, like fatally, and still heal. So,
yeah, he can
yeah,
also heal from the chakra, yeah, while
yeah.
Sasuke doesn't have that luxury.
So Naruto most likely, yeah, he most likely defeats
And
him.
the way I see it for you guys is like if it's Bloodlust, obviously Naruto all day, right? If it's in character and we're talking about KCM to Naruto to EMS Sasuke, Sasuke does have the advantage there now because like even though Naruto is still stronger because he's a dumbass and he's holding back,
Yeah,
Sasuke can more than likely maybe probably be able to get that W. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Or it'd just be a stalemate like it was towards the end of the show,
yeah. It'd
right?
be a close fight. Yeah, it's
And
close.
it'd be the Final Valley shit all over again, or be what happens in the end of the show.
Yeah, it's definitely
The
certainly
only
not. Either way, it's not one sided. It's very close. But I just see
yeah.
Naruto winning in most scenarios. But Sasuke could win as well. He'd win a few of them.
Because
Yeah,
if Naruto does like the feat he did at Kakage, like 2,000 plus fucking, KCM2 Naruto's and shit, throwing massive rising shurikens or whatever, or Biju Bomb to Avatar spamming that shit, like, I don't know what
yeah.
Sasuke gonna
Like
do
if
for all that.
Naruto has killer intent, I don't know how
Yeah.
Sasuke is able to.
And even with Madara, like with just base using
Yeah,
a little bit of QB chakra, he could beat the force, but that's insane.
yeah. Like
Madara had a
if he
ball
has
beat,
killer intent, I don't see how Sasuke survives that wave of
yeah,
power. Yeah. So,
it's
uh,
just too much.
what do people keep saying? Kaguzu lost to base Sharingan Kakashi. He actually beat that person. It wasn't one way or the other. It was inconclusive because Naruto showed up. They were fighting, and Kakashi admitted, if I had to, I would have used Kamui, implying that he would have beaten him.
Yeah.
They were relative.
And,
That's the point.
and we do know at that point, with the MS, you know what I mean, regardless of the whole stats thing, whether you believe in that, that's even worse for Kakuzu if he amplifies his stats further. But let's say even if it didn't, bottom line is what we do know bare minimum is now he has greater possession, greater analysis
Yeah.
capabilities. You know what I mean? It's gonna be even like if he's doing all of those feats against Kakuzu, fighting both of them at the same time, and even having taijutsu exchanges and 1v1 exchanges in the anime only, okay, with just 3 Tomo, imagine with the fucking Mangekyo.
Yeah.
He's gonna be seeing this shit and pulling Sasuke 3 Tomo feats to QB Naruto
Yeah.
in
What would
that
have
final
happened?
battle,
Yeah. His
you
his
know?
last resort plan was to snipe him. Just get rid of him. That's what
And
he
that
would have
too.
done.
He just
Yeah.
instant like and dead.
He probably would have done
So
that because Naruto didn't show up and he was on the on his back foot being pressed, getting against the corner. He would have sniped Kakuzu with the Kamui. That's what would have happened.
and then not only that, before everybody freaks out like, oh, he can't do Conway or whatever, that's actually not true. If really right after that fight, for one, he flat out says he would have done it. So I mean, he can do it instantaneously. But
Yeah.
even if you ignore that, right after that whole fight, when he's going to go help Naruto retrieve Sasuke, and Sasuke has his whole fight with Itachi, he literally dead ass activates his Mangekyo instantaneously.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, all right, we're gonna go because he was aware of the masked dude that had the shotgun, and he considered him enough of a threat instantaneously. Like, just from seeing his shotgun, he was like, yeah, that guy looks like the real deal. Let me activate MS. All right, now let's go get Sasuke. You know what I mean? So like, no matter what, like if Kakashi goes MS, he's beating his ass down in Taijutsu. I do believe
Yeah.
that,
He
or
does. Yeah.
winning a Raikuri exchange because now he can see and he has that visual kinetic advantage, right? With
Yeah.
the shotgun complementing the Shidori, and then or as Jay said, just instant snipe. He's dead.
Yeah.
Like Kakashi would beat him.
The MS was a failsafe for him. Obviously, he didn't have to use it, but he would have
Yeah.
if he had to. So that
He wasn't
implies.
trying to end in
Yeah.
end up in the fucking hospital, and he's
Yeah.
also aware that you lose your light when you use the MS. He even says that to Itachi when they meet in the beginning of Shippuden.
Yeah.
He's like, "How much light have you lost?" Yada yada. And Itachi was actually blown away and gets serious, which is rare. Okay, and he's like, "Kakashi, you haven't." You know what I mean? Like, and he's like even surprised Kakashi mastered the Mangekyo. So like, no matter what, like, it's just there's plenty of incentives for him to not use the MS. And most importantly, he was also following Shikamaru's plan and just being the support, basically, because he was basically respecting his whole vengeance agenda. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was following his whole plan. He was holding back, and if it wasn't necessary, why would you do that either? Right? There's no point. You know?
Yeah. So certainly, yeah. Simply put, base Sharingan Kakashi would have had to resort to MS eventually. He probably would have got pressed to further if Naruto hadn't shown. But yeah. Let's see here.
3 Tomo loses, though. I will say that.
Yeah.
3 Tomo
Yeah, he
loses.
does. Eventually, he'll be forced to use MS.
Yeah.
Say that there was a Uzumaki equivalent of Madara of both strength and speed. How would you write a character such as that? Well, his ideology would have to conform to Naruto's if he's an Uzumaki.
Yeah,
Um, Simply put, if there was a Madara version of an Uzumaki,
he's fucking.
it'd be a very Hashirama like personality.
Yeah.
Very lighthearted, very optimistic. Um,
The ceiling he would have, oh my god.
yeah, he'd be very powerful. Honestly, Hashirama is sort of the Uzumaki version. He's not an Uzumaki by genetically, but he's essentially the counterpart to Madara. So it'd be a similar individual.
Madara would probably be unstoppable at that point because, like, I could have sworn there was also a statement that the Senju and the Uchiha had to team up to defeat that clan and to
Yeah,
bring them to the verge of extinction because their ceiling was just so
yeah,
broken.
they're a threat. They
Um,
had to be almost
yeah,
exterminated. Yeah,
they were really that fucking strong. It was either they teamed up just in case, or it was stated verbatim like they were just stronger, so they had to team up.
yeah,
I don't remember exactly, but either way, like that's a feat itself. You know what I
yeah.
mean? And the
So
fact that they both had to collaborate with, they hate each other, okay, but they still had to just suck it up and pull a Shinobi alliance, basically, right, to defeat that clan and put them on the verge of extinction, and then basically force certain females to take it into whatever, and then go from there.
yeah,
That is,
they just
you know.
they were exploited for as Jinchurikis, as wives and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an exploited race for sure. A clan. Can Kisame solo all their six Miss Ninja swordsmen? Yes.
Oh,
Just
absolutely.
think
Yeah.
about this. Might die. You know, a guy's inferior fodder ass father killed like four of them with his trash ass gates, and he's nowhere near as strong as Guy. So yes, Kisame would fucking solo all of them.
Even worse, yeah. In the manga, it's like it's either vice versa. I don't care, but regardless, I'm just gonna say it. Manga was low numbers, anime was higher, or vice versa.
Yeah,
Manga was high numbers, meaning like more than four people died,
yeah,
and the other way around. So like, no matter whatever, obviously we take manga into priority at that point. That's a contradiction. But what's it called? But that's just yeah. There you go.
yeah.
It's just fun.
Kisame absolutely he'll obliterate the six swordsmen
Oh
of
my
contentions.
god, slams.
He's by far the strongest. Not even close. Do you think Kishimoto could have done better with side characters contributing to the plot? Oh yeah, but what
Yes,
would have
so is
happened is we probably would have had a One Piece sort of manga. It would probably been over 1,000 chapters because he'd have to write,
yeah.
development stories for each of these guys. We would have another One Piece on our hands. We'd probably have like 1,000 plus chapters. Who knows? Maybe it'd still be going now, like One Piece
Not
is.
only that, it would also enforce rat tactics and sophist tactics.
Yeah,
Because another thing to put into consideration, if side characters ever get more time or whatever, that means they're clearly getting more feats or this or that. And because people like to misconstrue context or overlook things, you name it, then that gives them more of a way to argue in offense of them being over the main people or they're just blatantly over these people, right?
yeah,
And so, no matter what, it would have been great. There's pros and cons to everything. I would
yeah,
have actually really enjoyed it too because I really enjoyed Rock Lee as a character. I
yeah.
loved him. And I
Rock
thought
Lee
he
was
was
very good.
done. Yeah,
Um,
I don't really care about Neji, all that, and everybody else. But Rock Lee and Shikamaru were just really cool. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And Shikamaru was done right.
he was done
He
pretty
actually
well.
had
Yeah,
way, yeah, he had so much. So I don't know why they gave only Shikamaru that treatment. But then again, Shikamaru, he is that guy and he's super intelligent. But either way, like so it just sucks.
yeah.
All I would have hoped for is that they at least did it for Rock Lee too. But they only give Shikamaru that, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
So.
they certainly could have written him better for sure. There's several characters that could have been written better, like bitch ass Sakura. She's the main character. She was ass.
Yeah, that
So
that too. Yeah,
yeah.
I know. She was
Um,
horrible.
is EMS Sasuke relative to Casey and Naruto? Yes, but what happens is
Yes.
EMS Sasuke gradually gets stronger and stronger. Eventually, he's relative to Casey and 2 Sage Mode
Yeah.
Naruto. So it's
Yeah.
not the Sasuke that we see with Itachi is not the same Sasuke we see near the end of the war arc when he's talking to Sage of Six Paths. Those are two different levels of power we're talking about. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, so like yeah, no, like that's the problem. So if you're talking about like beginning, like the one that's with Itachi, yeah, they're practically equal to each other, relative, whatever.
yeah,
What's it called? Then you get to the point where he's more stronger and like throughout, to where he's doing all those feats and trying to help Naruto against Jubido, Yin, blah blah, the whole nine. Even like even shown to use perfect Susanoo now because of him using majestic armor on the QB. That's clearly a sign of perfect Susanoo.
yeah.
All that he's blatantly just more stronger.
Yeah, he
So
gets
yeah,
stronger and stronger as time goes on. That's the only
he
way
was fucked up.
Kishimoto could keep them relative. He has to get stronger because Naruto does as
Yeah.
well. So clearly he does. EMS probably shits on KCM1. They're relative, but loses horribly to KCM2. Again, if we're talking about early war arc EMS, yeah, he'd lose to
Naruto
KCM2.
probably wins actually. Yeah, if
Yeah,
it's early, I think Naruto actually takes that,
Yeah.
because of all the clones, especially if it's killer intent, right?
Yeah.
You name it. He should just be able to get through. It's just like if Donzo could get through the fucking Susanoo, with certain shit. Like I know it's that's not EMS, but you get what I'm saying. Naruto's no
Yeah.
fucking joke with the KCM. So like if he hits it enough with the taxi, he's definitely breaking through the Susanoo, whatever. And it just, or better yet, if it comes to an outlasting match, who do you think's taking that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Naruto for sure.
So Naruto for sure. He has crazy way more chakra.
Yeah.
So if that's it, no, I don't see Sasuke taking that at all. But if it's the stronger one, yeah, absolutely, he slams.
Yeah, for sure. The best arcs in all Naruto for you. This guy said, my opinion, Pain Arc's number one, then the 5 Kage Summit, then the War Arc. So Pain Arc to me is my favorite personally.
Yeah.
After that, though, for me,
You got a video on that, right, Jay? Your favorite arcs?
I think I did
I
that.
don't know.
But Pain Arc's number one for sure. It's been that way since I first saw the arc as a kid.
Who wouldn't say Pain Arc, bro?
Yeah, it's fucking good. The only knock on is the ending with Nagato giving in, but besides that,
yeah, that was trash.
Yeah, I would say maybe the Sasuke retrieval arc. I think that's when the Genin went from boys to men. That's what I always say. They got tested. All of them nearly died.
Yeah,
all of them nearly on their deathbed, including Naruto when he lost to Sasuke. That was a pretty amazing arc. So that might be number 2.
Yep.
Number 3. What are the arcs? Let's see. Naruto Shippuden. Tuning exams is really up there for me. But another option would be
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. What's another good one?
And shooting exams are basically qualify for all of it. So you mean like the Chicago versus and all that shit.
Yeah, that'd probably be my list. Warwick was okay, but I wouldn't have it in top 3. There's too many problems for me.
I feel like Lana Waves would have to be
really
definitely a top 5 at least.
Oh yeah, that's top 5.
Lana Waves set up everything, and that
really,
was
really
like some
arc.
OG traditional shinobi fucking fire shit.
Yeah, that was an all-time great arc for sure. I probably would be
in
my top 5.
Too, of what they're about,
Yeah. I wasn't even arguing Kakuzu beats Mangekyo. I was only talking about base. Yeah, he probably would be base Sharingan.
I've Kage Summit though. That's a strong one too.
Yeah, it's a very good arc actually. That's where you really see the darkest version of Sasuke.
I don't know if you have that at 5 or 3, Jay, but that was really good.
It's a good arc, yeah. That's where you see Sasuke at his darkest point in his career as a shinobi.
Wanting smoke with everybody.
Yeah, he just wanted to. He wanted vengeance. Yeah, he was on a vengeance killing spree. So, how ironic Kakashi helps Shikamaru get revenge, but he tells Sasuke it's not worth it. Yeah, well, I mean, the person that Shikamaru was trying to eliminate is a fucking homicidal maniac. So, I mean, from Kakashi's perspective, he doesn't know that either. To be fair, yeah, to his perspective, Itachi's a homicidal maniac too. But yeah. I mean, Sasuke was on the wrong side of things, though. He was approaching it the wrong way. So
he should have wanted justice against the elders alone. Like he was taking it out on everybody, and blaming it on everybody, and it had nothing to do with any of them. You know what I mean?
He was definitely wrong. Shikamaru, he had a noble reason. The way he ended it was very noble.
Shikamaru was blatantly different.
Yeah,
blatantly different.
Definitely different. Sakura's not a main character. She's a supporting character. She's ass regardless. Share your biggest Naruto hot tip.
Not really. Like with that logic, that means Sasuke's not a main character. You know what I mean? Because technically, the only main character is Naruto.
Yeah, for being pedantic, yeah, he's the main character.
Yeah, we're saying Sakura is a main because in a sense they were the main focus.
She's dog shit regardless, but she's ass. Share your biggest Naruto hot takes. What's going on, YC8 Prodigy? Thanks for coming in. And by the way, folks, for you guys that are in here, make sure to hit the like button. Gets us up in the algorithm. The more likes, the better. Donations take priority, of course. If you're a member, take priority as well. Appreciate it. Appreciate Sir Goats for the donation as well. But biggest Naruto hot take. Let's see. What's a hot take that I have? Most of them aren't hot takes, I'd say. But Itachi blitzed Pain. A lot of people disagree with that, but he blitzed him on the panel. It literally shows Nagato with the exclamation point, in the comment bubble, implying he was aware and he got blitzed. He got shot on. But besides that, let's see what else would be
another one. Jay, Foretail's Naruto arc. That shit was cool.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I think the
Tenkachi Bridge arc. TB2, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a pretty cool arc. The fight over the Orochimaru was really good.
Yeah.
Another hot take. Oh, I have a hot one. Heavy post absorption Orochimaru Sasuke beats Jiraiya. That's a hot take. That
Yeah.
I could argue. It's very contentious, I'll admit that, but I could argue he beats him. I guess that's a kind of a hot take. Most people would say he's not Jiraiya level.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's still not sonning, but you could definitely argue because
Yeah.
it is there. You
Me
know
and
what I mean?
Shinobi, when we made our video on Jiraiya versus Sasuke, I made a case that Sasuke could beat Jiraiya, but you could argue the other way too, though. So
Makes sense.
yeah,
Makes
that's a
sense.
hot
Though.
take. I guess that's a hot
Sasuke,
take that I have. Yeah, another one. Let's see here. Well, I don't exactly believe Itachi could beat Obito, but there's an argument that he could. Um, that's a hot take, I guess. If Itachi was not sick, he would destroy Pain, in my opinion. Healthy Itachi versus Prime Pain, I do see him beating him. Do I see him destroying him? I don't know, but I do see him beating him, though. Yeah. How you guys doing?
Obito,
Yeah.
fucking, I think Itachi just because like they're in a competitive stance.
Yeah.
I think just because of how smart Itachi is, that's why you could get it. You could pull like a Minato thing in a nutshell and somehow catch him lacking. And obviously, if he even lands one Totsuka, what he's fucked. You
Oh,
know what I
he's
mean?
done. Yeah.
And then not only that, this is theoretical, so unfortunately, no way to prove it definitively. But if you think like Totsuka could also like negate Kamui in a sense, because the whole thing like Kamui only works on physical shit, not spiritual objects and whatnot, then you can have that. But
Yeah.
either way, we're ignoring all that crap. Freaking, it's Itachi. He's really interesting, and then Tsukiyomi, like.
Such a problem.
You know,
Yeah.
like that's also really fucking strong. Like the only defense Obito has is if he could resist it, if that is actually how things work.
Yeah, if things
Um,
work, yeah.
yeah, and if he can't resist it, if he
He's
gets
fucked.
hit,
Yeah.
you can't fight that.
He's done.
It's stated verbatim. There's no way to defend yourself. That's what makes it so strong. It's not about genjutsu resistance or scaling or this or that. You literally you can't perceive time and space.
Yeah.
So by the time you even realize the damage is already done and you're dead.
Even
So-
Jinchurikis would be fucked. So
Yeah, like Itachi could have a strong win con with that if that goes. Amaterasu was shown to work on Obito, however you want to think of that, but in close range, right? Like dead in the face, like not from far. I'm not saying that,
yeah.
or medium, but like dead. If Itachi's able to get close in and Amaterasu, that could potentially be a win con. The only other time that's further reinforced is like when Sasuke says, "Oh, I'll just use Amaterasu to beat Obito."
Yeah.
When they ask him like, "What are we gonna do if he tries to fight us?"
Yeah,
I mean, let's be real, Sasuke would get slammed by Obito, but
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
what's it called? But all I'm saying is Amaterasu, it's just with Itachi,
yeah,
it is
If
strong,
you think about it logically, from the very beginning they met, when Itachi was a teenager, he went up to Obito.
That too.
There was an immediate level of respect and awareness of the threat that each presents to each other, and they said, "Hey, let's work together." Obito said, "What if I don't?" He said, "Well, we're gonna have to settle that if you don't
We're gonna
work
have
with
to
me."
fight basically. Yeah, in the
Obito
novel,
was-
he said, "I'll kill you" instead.
Yeah, Obito was mindful of that. He's like, all right, this guy's a threat, but I do get what I want in a way. He gets what he wants.
Yeah.
I could.
And that's Itachi without mastery over MS, by the way.
Yeah, that was a young Itachi. Yeah.
Like that's Itachi, like without with Obito having no knowledge if he even has an MS, just from Obito sensing his presence, his chakra, you name it, he thought he was a formidable opponent or a rival to him. You know what I mean? Or enough of a threat to where if he was to fight him, either it would be like the statement Itachi said, Ame, he's going to go down getting severely injured, or he could potentially lose. And why would you take a risk on that when you can exploit?
Not to give too much away, because me and Shinobi are next week we're debating Itachi versus Pain. But yeah, the demeanor Obito has clearly shows that he deems Itachi a bigger threat. I'm not gonna get too much into it.
Or Pain around like a dog.
Yeah, literally lapdog. But yeah, next week there will be a thorough debate on that. I'll be debating Shinobi on that. Itachi versus Pain. That should be a good one. I'm trying to be as detailed as possible in that debate too. So it should be a good debate. My hot take is Tobirama had fought Obito in the Nine Tails. If Tobirama had, Obito would have beat Tobirama. He probably would have. Yeah, probably would have beat him. I think Tobirama's inferior as far as reaction time.
He just doesn't have any. I'm sorry, he just doesn't have good scaling, guys.
Yeah,
it's the opposite.
Unfortunately,
it's really bad.
I actually like the Five Kage Summits arc the best. It was unpredictable. I don't blame you. That's a good arc. That's a pretty good arc. So, do y'all think Naruto and Sasuke Boruto are console the Narutoverse? Oh yeah, they're soloing. If you're talking Shippuden prior, yeah, they're soloing everyone. Kage's getting fucking slapped around. I mean, after Kage, there is no threat. They could stomp everyone after that. I mean, DMS Kakashi gets destroyed. Jubidara, I mean, come on, he's significantly inferior to Kaguya power-wise. He gets absolutely fucking annihilated. Jubito's
No, another thing people forget too, Kagi wasn't even at full power. I could have sworn there was something that was hinting towards that too, to where the whole point of Kaguya coming, like she was already crazy strong just appearing, right?
yeah,
But then she was going to use the divine tree to get all of her chakra back too, meaning she would be at her max prime power, right?
yeah,
I
like
could have sworn there was something with that too,
yeah,
and
she
that
was trying to
you
maximize
know,
her chakra levels.
yeah,
But yeah, Naruto and Sasuke are soloing the whole verse. Yeah, easily.
like they're fucked.
Yeah. If anything, Naruto could blow up the planet. Just him and Sasuke go teleport to the moon, and he shoots a Biju bomb at Earth, and it's over. I mean, it'd be that easy for him. So the whole verse is fucked.
DMS Kakashi, if anything, around that time would be fucking soloing a whole bunch of people too. Like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. He solos
movies like even
yeah.
him, somebody like him.
He'd solo most of the verse, probably all of it. Yeah. Also, found a debate. Jay Sakura character is not trash. We could debate that. Oh yeah, we could discuss that being a possibility. That'd be kind of difficult though because that's very subjective. We'd have to establish what a good character entails of first. Because if we don't, then we'll be sort of arguing for premises that we're not aware of, and that could get kind of messy.
It depends what's being conveyed, basically,
Yeah.
because the problem is, if you go a certain direction of a narrative analysis of the character, right, where it fits the whole notion of why she is perceived to be trash, then that's going to be blatant and definitive because let's be real, and you should be aware of this too. The writing that she had, especially throughout part one, was fucking horrendous.
Yeah, it
Even
was.
Kishimoto, as a fucking during an interview, flat out stated he's really bad at writing female
Admits
characters,
that. Yeah.
and he even admitted that he fucked up Sakura's writing. You
Yeah.
name it.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much blatantly to prove that she is definitely a trash character in a certain sense that you're going, right? But if you're going in a different area, right, for something else entirely and to analyze it, then obviously that could be more understandable because eventually, like there's certain attributes that she has that's respectable. There's then she eventually, like, especially during Shippuden, right? She actually starts getting some self-worth in a sense, showing 100 healings in the war arc to be somewhat compatible with Naruto and Sasuke, right? Things like that, etc. So like if you go like along those positive things, then obviously you could say, oh, she wasn't a trash character,
Yeah, I made a
right?
video on this with a friend of mine, why Sakura's so hated, and we actually discussed the positive, but they're just far away by her trash ass fucking writing.
Yeah, but that's the problem. There's like it's just way more negativity than positive. That's the issue.
So
So obviously,
we'd
just
have to
depends.
establish what trash and good means before we debate that, as those terms can.
Otherwise, it's going to be unfair for either side to
as
debate.
those terms could have relative definitions from individual to individual. So, let's see. One way to see Itachi actually bitch Naruto is that Naruto had extra eyes because of his animal summons. On top of that, Kishimoto went out of his way to let us know that Naruto was aware that he was blitzing him. He knew. It wasn't like it was off guard at all. Yeah.
I just remember, Jay, this was also something, because you know how like the one thing you hated towards the pain arc was everyone come back?
Yeah.
I think this is an interesting what-if scenario. What if Nagato didn't bring everybody back?
Oh, man. If that never happened...
Changes things.
Yeah, that
Big
changed
time.
big time because Naruto would never have Kakashi again. The Konoha...
Like, I do think Naruto would still end up killing Nagato. Because, like, you know what I mean? Like, or even if, like, let's, like, regardless if Nagato was like, just gave up, right? And it's like, I don't know, whatever happens from that, that's not the point. But the main point is if none of those people got brought back, that would be a big deal.
I think that, for that to happen, one, Naruto would have to die there and be like, all right, I give up, and he dies. Or, like you said, Naruto kills him. If that didn't happen, Konoha would be a dead nation because the majority of the population was exterminated by pain. It'd be a dead nation.
All of them.
Yeah, all of them would be gone. There'd be some relatively
All
powerful.
slammed. All the ninja were slammed. Their best Jonin were slammed except for Guy. Jiraiya's gone.
Yeah, most of the shinobi are gone. Konoha would be vulnerable, and
It's just up to Naruto at that
one
point.
One of the other four nations would take the role of the strongest nation on Earth. It'd probably be the Cloud Village, probably with the.
I forgot Danzo and Naruto, the only ones relevant at that point.
Yep, Danzo, Eight Gates, my guy. That's pretty much it.
Guy and Danzo and Naruto. That's it.
Tsunade would be in a coma. She might die because there's no hospital.
And let's be real, like they're strong, those three, but they're not strong enough to take on an entire fucking nation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so Yeah, it'd probably be the Cloud Village or one of those that'd take the mantle as the strongest nation on Earth. Um,
Yeah.
Naruto would be more. I mean, with Kakashi gone, it'd be a tough uh, time for him.
That
He
even
would,
affects the fucking war too.
yeah, a whole fifth of the Allied Shinobi forces would be gone. Um,
Obito would never be dealt with because the whole Conway thing too. You have all that.
yeah,
Even if Guy got there in time, you think Guy's going to be enough to protect B and fucking Naruto?
yeah,
No.
no,
Okay, like Guy would have to go eighth gate, and then
yeah.
sure, yeah, now Obito's probably dead.
Uh,
Or shit, it wouldn't surprise me if Kishimoto was writing it to where Obito just like calmways away and disappears.
yeah, I
You
think
know, or like or he just
yeah,
can't get hit or something. But I
Obito would
don't
have
think.
Obito would
Yeah.
have got his way. That's what would have happened. Yeah,
Probably, yeah. Like Obito would have got his way basically if it was written. Like, because don't get me wrong, Guy in eighth gate's no joke. He's getting 6 past level, right?
yeah,
But like the problem is, if Obito's already using Comlink, the moment it's activated, as long as he keeps it activated for 5 minutes, Guy can't even hit him in eighth gate either.
yeah.
There's nothing he could do. So, but
Uh,
either way, like it's really interesting. But like so much shit just changes
yeah, a
drastically.
lot of things would change. Obito would probably win. Yeah, because Kakashi was the only counter to him. So he'd fail. Well, I mean, he'd win and Naruto would fail, and it would end very sadly and darkly, actually. So, um,
Yeah.
best Shippuden character to Boruto glow up. Uh, Probably Sasuke. He still has his swag. Naruto looks like a fucking like a gump with his like
Yeah, he looks like a goofball.
trash ass
Yeah.
haircut and like trash ass outfit. Sasuke looks
Literally.
yeah, he looks cold with his shadow outfit, shadow Hokage outfit. So probably Sasuke. Everyone else looks kind of dumb, to be honest. Besides like Shikamaru, he still looks pretty cool. Tomorrow as an adult's a baddie, but besides that, Sasuke probably is the best glow up. I would say Obito beat Tobirama in a similar way. At least Tobirama would have struggled against Obito. Yeah, Tobirama loses. The best villains in Naruto, top four in my opinion. He says Pain, that's a good one. Madara, Obito, Orochimaru, Kage's ass. Yeah, she is. For me, number one would be Madara. I think he's the single greatest villain in the Naruto storyline. Number two would be Pain. He's very, very good. His ideology's very understandable. The Pain arc is one of the greatest arcs of all time. Number three, Orochi. You can't go wrong with Orochimaru in part one. Very good villain. Very sinister. Very polarizing. Such a high threat during that time. I mean, Hiruzen himself
Yeah.
had to take the gloves off to combat him. Number four, who else is a pretty good villain? Honestly, it might be Ishiki. I know it's Boruto, but Ishiki's a very good villain. He's a very good villain.
I heard a lot of good about. I heard
Yeah,
like his savagery is even worse than Madara.
yeah. He's like, he has this like gentleman demeanor, but he's so powerful. That's what makes him more threatening. He's not someone that shows his temper. He's very like gentleman-like, but he's just so powerful.
And I heard he pulls a pain feat in a
Yeah,
sense.
he's basically Madara 2.0 against the Shinobi Alliance, but against Naruto and Sasuke. That's how dominant he is. Until obviously Baryon mode, but he was so
Bro.
dominant that they had no chance. They both admitted it. Like we can't compete against this guy. We need like when Jigen trapped Naruto, he told Sasuke, "Get the fuck out of here, man. We're both gonna die if you don't leave. We need at least one person to survive this." He's like, "Fuck, man. You're right. I gotta go." So they were just so out of their. He was so out of their league that he was just superior. It was very blatant. It was kind of saddening to see. I was like, damn, they're fodder compared to this guy.
That's just funny to me because I'm in this whole Depa arc right now, or Deepa, however the fuck you say his
Oh yeah,
name.
yeah, dip.
And that motherfucker is just crazy to me
He's just
so far.
oh, he's pretty powerful. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, bro. And then I've heard so much. Well, I can only imagine. Like, 'cause I like, if I think it's bad with this motherfucker,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ishiki, when you see him and the way he beats down those two, it's
bro.
a Madara 2.0. I used to
Hey,
think
man,
attached.
I was really enjoying the Depa arc though, Jay, because it kind of was giving me the retrieval arc vibes again.
It was a good. Yeah, that was a
Where
pretty
they
decent arc.
failed and got their ass beat, and
Yeah.
learned.
They learned they learned from their mistakes. Naruto comes back. I mean, Boruto comes back more powerful. Him and Team Seven. It was a pretty good arc actually.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. He's already he's learned. That's because that's another thing to bring up too. This also blew my mind when I was watching this shit, Jay. Because like when Kakashi was analyzing Boruto and he made his third Rising
Yeah.
because he did the normal Rising right? Then he does the S rank training that Naruto did, the Rising Shuriken Rising type thing, right? Which is what lightning style. And the third thing he did, because the lightning vanishing rising gun didn't have much of a punch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was basically like it basically had the hacks component, but it still had the same AP as a normal rising gun in a sense. As crazy as that sounds. Um, he had to learn a third rising gun and create that, and it was called the compressing
Oh,
rising
that's
gun.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, where it was so fucking powerful to where even like the risk is his arm could get blown off because it
Yeah,
just has so much
it's like
recoil.
high. Yeah, it was like a very
Yeah,
high amount of pressure in a very small area. It's just very
yeah,
high
he has to be
pressure.
like really fucking careful. So it's way more fucking piercing and stronger in AP, whatever. It's kind of like a Rikery rising on in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But the so he has all that. But it was funny because eventually Kakashi says like, it's insane because he has Lord Force genius prowess, and then there was something else. Oh, and he says in Naruto's unpredictability as well. Like he could just basically like just do anything. Like
Yeah,
I
he's
can't believe what he's done
prodigy.
because he
Yeah.
basically was doing the impossible. Like Kakashi was literally telling him what you're trying to do is impossible, and then with the chakra levels that you have, it's also impossible to make your vanishing rising on or lightning rising on any more stronger than it needs to be, or even the wind style rising on, which that makes it green. So he has two. He has a wind style rising on, but it's just not a shuriken, which is weird. It just
Yeah,
turns green.
that Rasengan was
Uh,
pretty cool. Yeah, when he defeated
yeah,
Deadpool with it. Yeah.
yeah. He has a fucking wind style. He has a lightning style, and then he has the compressing rising on. But overall, like he was just telling him, like with just the wind one alone, like bro, you do not have enough chakra to make that shit be way more powerful. Like the rising shuriken, like it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, he still somehow does it. He pulls the impossible and is able to do it, whatever. And then he does the whole compressing thing, and it was just crazy. And basically, what I got from that in a nutshell is that if Minato did live long enough, he would have been able to accomplish the same thing, and he would have just been more crazy and
Yeah, he
strong.
definitely would have discovered more things with a longer life for sure. I mean, he's
Yeah, he would
prodigy.
have definitely created the next Rising on the super one.
Yeah,
Um,
he was a prodigy. There's very few guys like him. Boruto obviously has his
Orto could
genetic.
do it. He could do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nagato is impressively fast though. He reacted to he's the killer being K. Yeah, but those guys are slower than Nagato. I mean, Itachi's faster than Nagato. We could debate it on your terms. I mean, if you want to debate whether soccer is trash or not on my terms, we could do that. I mean, that won't be in your favor though because yeah, in my
It's just
terms.
common sense, but okay.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't think he's ever said that, especially since he wrote Tsunade pretty well. But I know Kishimoto, whether he says it or not, it's pretty implied that he's not really good at writing female women.
he
Yes,
does say, and you can
Tsunade
just
is
Google it.
good. Tsunade's a good, decent character, but look at Tenten, Ino's trash ass, Sakura's trash ass, Kaguya's dog shit ass character.
Yeah,
It's
it
pretty,
was mainly in reference to Sakura, but like I
yeah,
said, if you don't believe me, you could literally just Google it.
yeah.
Like, just type
Kudroya,
Kishimoto's thoughts on writing female characters or
yeah.
Sakura. It's
Could
insane.
Jiraiya take the pass in a 1v1 fight just like he planned to? One by one, no. He would have lost for sure to the Tendo path. Would have slammed his ass. Yeah, there's no chance he beats him. He might be the weaker ones, like the Animal path, um, I think the Naraka path. But once he gets to Tendo or even the Asura, he's getting fucked up. He's not beating those guys one on one either.
No, whenever somebody mentions Cox versus Pain, I'm like, oh, you mean the summoning path alone? Yeah, sure. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And he would also beat his ass.
yeah, exactly. Like with Pain, Nagato has to make sure they're not too far away. Or they're not going to be as powerful. And if you take down one path, that's
That's
one
not
of
true. Pain was far as fuck from the Hidden Leaf Village.
yeah. I mean, the signal does get weaker, but we don't know how much
Yeah,
weaker. So
yeah. The whole quantification
Nagato
theory.
doesn't have that issue because he is the source.
Yeah,
So yeah, the Cloud would have Loki just annexed the leaf if Nagato hadn't revived anyone. Yeah, like I said, the nations that haven't been obliterated would take over. Yeah, Sasuke's outfit in the last clears his Boruto. I agree. That shit was hard in the movie for sure. What would happen if the fourth Hokage never died in the Nine Tails attack? A lot would change, that's for sure.
yeah.
Orochimaru probably wouldn't have the balls to even show up in Konoha during the Chunin exams. He would have got fucking dealt with
It's flat
quickly.
out narratively
Yeah,
emphasized that the
he would
fourth
have
was
got
way
he
more
probably would have
powerful than
died because Minato doesn't share Hiruzen sympathy for his people.
nope.
To him, he's just some fucking like maniac, sinister piece of shit that was experimenting on people. He would fucking slit his throat.
Basically like Obito, all over again, or some other that he would just kill instantly. He
Yeah,
just
most
wouldn't
of the
give no
threats
fuck.
wouldn't show up. Itachi and Kisame probably wouldn't have the guts to show up. Itachi's like, if I show up here, I'm gonna have to fight Minato. Minato is not gonna let me leave. I'm gonna have to fight him. So he probably would have never showed up. If anything, he would have trusted Minato to protect his
That's good,
brother.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I don't need to show up.
He would have
Minato's
just
there.
talked to him. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, I also believe Minato would have also been the one to
Oh
also
yeah, yeah,
know
yeah.
the truth.
They probably would
You know
have.
what I mean?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
probably would have put Danzo in his place. He's like, bitch, I'm not your friend. I'm the Hokage.
That's the Uchiha incident also probably doesn't happen either if
Yeah.
Minato was there because that was kind of heavily emphasized that like even Hiruzen said like, or no, or Minato said when he was brought back in the war that if I was alive I would have been able to prevent the whole Uchiha thing and whatnot.
Oh, for
And
sure.
then even though this is filler, but then again it is like involving with some with Kishimoto, right? To where like it was showing like basically a what if scenario if Minato didn't die. And literally, the Uchiha don't get killed.
Yeah,
They actually
literally.
survive when he was still alive as Hokage.
Well, what had
You have
happened
all
is,
of that, you name
yeah.
it.
Well, what had happened is, there would have been this Uchiha sort of segregation. Minato is the Hokage. If anything, he probably would have ended that. He probably went to Fugaku directly and talked to him. He's like, "Hey, man, we're cool.
Yeah.
We could all work together." Danzo would be like, "No, it's not okay." He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Danzo. I run shit here. Shut the fuck up
Yeah.
before I put you in your place." Then
It's,
Danzo would have
it's
never done
because
shit.
how he runs things. He's
Yeah.
very dominant. He's very quick to de-escalate as well. And because he has the power, he could whether you like it or not. That's it.
He serves as a deterrent to all the threats. Like Obito, he's a deterrent to Obito. He beat Obito. That's a threat. He's a deterrent to all the threats in Shinobi World. Orochimaru would have been hesitant. Itachi would have been hesitant. Fucking. Well, honestly, the massacre would have never happened. Actually, scratch that because he wouldn't allow Danzo to take control.
Happen. Yeah, it just
they
wouldn't
probably would have
happen.
lived in harmony. He would have stopped that. Sasuke would have grown up with his brother. At that point, they have several. The strongest individuals wouldn't ever touch Konoha because Itachi would be there, Minato would be there, Sasuke would grow up with his brother, Fugaku's still
Sasuke
living.
would be way more stronger with his brother too, being trained.
Like-
Naruto would be crazy more stronger because
there's
of
no
Minato.
way Orochimaru would ever dare step foot in there. He would get dealt with by Itachi, or fucking Minato would deal with him, or fucking Naruto would like all these guys would fold his shit. So a lot of threats.
Stated verbatim that they said the fourth Hokage, if he was there, then Orochimaru could be dealt with.
Yeah,
And
Orochimaru
then
would have
here's just like, don't say that, you know what I mean? Whatever. We might be, like, we got to be positive or something.
very easily would have been dealt with. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Obito would have been like, all right, now that Minato's still alive, I gotta find a way to.
Do you see Orochimaru fighting Obito?
Fuck no, no. He would have to find a way to get his way. It's gonna be very hard with Minato being alive. So yeah. Let's see here. Another hot take I have is that the real hero of the Shizuken Shinobi War was Tsunade, Chiyo. I mean, they're all heroes. Yeah, they all did something. Tsunade was literally the only well-written major female character. I agree. Tamara was okay too. She's alright.
Yeah, Tsunade was goated female character.
Yeah.
She was
Tamari she's okay. Yeah. I don't have any thoughts about her, whether good or bad. I love how hot Tamari is more than her character. Yeah, me too.
Wait, not thinking about it. Didn't Six make a why Sakura is trash video?
Yeah, he shot on her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone said I love how hot Tamari is more than her actual character. Yeah, me too. Tamari's a bad bitch now.
Like, I'm sorry, Jay. Like that other guy. I swear to God, he's trolling. Like, I'm not even trying to be mean, but like I never knew you could defend somebody that literally cries the entire fucking show. Cries literally. Says Sasuke over and over and over. Watches Naruto and Sasuke fight over and over and over. Doesn't fucking do a goddamn thing, and then literally cries about Sasuke being injured. Sasuke this, Sasuke that, and then literally asks Naruto to do everything. Treats him like a fucking bitch.
Dog shit. Yeah.
Exploits him, abuses him. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much, bro.
Dude, and
like she was utter dog shit.
And then she acts like a 304 by pretending to manipulate Naruto and say I love you. I'm like, dude, you're a fucking hoe.
That too, like all of that.
That's 304 behavior. That's disgusting. That's hoish behavior. That's disgusting. She's a dog shit character. This is what it is. So.
She got to get a copycat of Tsunade's writing in order to be somewhat, relevant and respected. Like that is also shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She copied Tsunade.
While Naruto
did his own thing in her past.
Yeah, character-wise, she's a poor man Tsunade or poor woman Tsunade. Character-wise, she might be more powerful, but she's dog shit as far as character. So. Kakuzu has a lot of ability. I wish she could have one-shot everyone. You're right. Kakuzu's omnipotent. I forgot.
Well, technically, Kakashi's omnipotent. He actually has a data book.
He has data book statement.
I'm not lying.
And the ramen guy, omnipotent.
So that would also make Kakuzu omnipotent because he fought Kakashi.
Yeah, literally. Sakura and Kage are good characters. Kage's fucking dog shit. It's hard to argue Tenten is a bad character. Tenten's a dog shit character. She's so
Yo,
fucking trash.
why are people
Trash.
defending these people?
I don't
Come
understand
on.
that. I'll defend Tsunade. I'll even defend Tamari's fine ass, but I'm not defending fucking Sakura. She's
Yeah,
fucking ass.
Tamari is great.
Yeah.
Tsunade is fucking great.
Yeah. After
But
that,
fucking, come on, bro. Like, Tenten and Sakura, what are you doing?
the dog shit. I've heard there are some discussions about Sage Mode being a bigger boost than KCM1 overall. What's your take? That's certainly not the case because Naruto blatantly says, I'm stronger now than when I fought Pain, implying that the amplification he receives from base to KCM1 is greater than the amp he gets from base to Sage Mode.
And the reason why KCM is also greater is because of convenience. It lasts way longer. It's not on a timer. Yeah. He doesn't have to sit down and gather it. He can just literally immediately activate it or deactivate. He doesn't have to use a fucking scroll to summon anything. He doesn't have to be limited to only using 2 shadow clones now. Okay, while KCM, he could do thousands and thousands of shadow clones. He can also fucking have range attacks now as well. Instead of just a rising shuriken being his only range and only having like what 2 shots.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Even if you argue that his base is stronger than the base that fought Pain, that's fine. But the argument to counter that would be, why wouldn't he use Sage Mode against in the War Arc if the amplification he gets from it is greater than KCM1? What would even be the point of KCM1? There's no point if the boost for Sage Mode is bigger. So yeah, it's definitely not correct.
Like, it's way more convenient. It has tons and tons and tons of pros compared to Sage Mode. While fucking Sage Mode is, we know what it does, whatever, etc. Like, there's just so many cons of Sage Mode. And it's literally advocated that it's a double-edged sword, Sage Mode. Yeah. It is really strong, and it is very important. It can put you in upper classes. It is no joke. And the only thing that is that you can at least definitely, say bare minimum, the sensory and reaction times are greater. You know what I mean? But, other than that, even the reaction thing is debatable. Sensory, no. But the reaction thing is debatable. But that's the only best thing it has, technically definitively, right? As a state.
And even that feat where he uses it against the Raikage in comparison to KCM1, you could just argue he did that because he was fatigued. He was fatigued. He had several clones in the battlefield, so maybe that's why he used Sage Mode. Maybe that's why reaction time was better at that time.
Traveled from the island to the war, fights the Raikage, fights Itachi and Nagato. Then after that, literally, blatantly shows fatigue. He loses his form because he was going to use more clones, and he's huffing and puffing, and Itachi's like, dude, what are you doing? And then it goes from there. Then he goes to fight Obito. Mind you, while all this is going on, he has all his clones doing jutsu and still in the form too. Okay, so there's all this shit. Basically, Naruto is not even at full power the whole fucking time.
It's blatantly directly stated by him that KCM1 is stronger. So
and that too,
that's as blatant as it gets. Yeah. Minato was alive. Even Obito would have a tough time. He would try to hunt him down as soon as possible with all the backup he got. Well, Obito would have Pain, and maybe he gets Orochimaru. Just imagine this. Imagine Minato, Itachi, Fugaku, Hiruzen, Danzo if he cooperates with Minato. All those guys together against the Akatsuki. I don't see them beating those guys. With Minato and Itachi together, Fugaku as well. Come on. Yeah, they're not defeating them. Pain, even with Pain and Obito, no. You're not beating those guys. You're going to fall to them. Minato is faster than all of them. There's Itachi there, who's not going to hold back now. He has no reason to. On top of that, Fugaku, we don't even know how strong he is. It'd be a problem.
That's going to happen is he correlates as a competitor to the fourth Hokage.
Yeah, but literally, he's a threat. So the Akatsuki would be fucked. They probably would even go to Konoha, to be honest.
Fugaku also says, manga and anime that he can control the Nine Tails.
Yeah.
Regardless if he has an MS, he does say he can control the Nine Tails.
Yeah, it's pretty blatant that Konoha would be the strongest entity in the shinobi world. So, some of the filler with Danzo was stupid. One of them had Hiruzen find out Danzo tried to have him assassinated with proof of his involvement in an attempt. Yeah, it's because the problem with Hiruzen is that he lacks backbone. That's why the massacre happened. He lacked the conviction to tell Danzo, no, I'm going to promote peace. He's not a good leader, man. Honestly, he's not.
Very passive. He's very
passive. Yeah.
Too nice. That's the problem.
He admits it. He's like, I failed. He admits that he was a weak leader. Minato was cutthroat.
He didn't get a call until after the Uchiha massacre.
Yeah.
He actually really got pissed and finally put him in his place and said, "Nah, you're fuck you. How dare you do all this shit? This is all your fault. Go to jail. He literally told him like you're getting locked up now, blah blah this and that. And this conversation is over with. That was the only time he actually bitched Donzo and put him in his place. Okay.
Exactly.
And because he just would have never fucking do that. He was always being a little bitch and trying to like
Always. Yeah.
him or allow him to be competitive or whatever, some bullshit, or have his own ruling in a sense because he at least knew that Donzo was always trying to do things for the greater good, or like he also has the same powerful love for the Leaf, right? But because he was a dumbass and a bitch, and he gave Donzo so much room to do whatever and wasn't, contesting him when it was needed. Okay, that's why shit went the way. And overall, I get Hiruzen's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he lacked conviction. He lacked the iron frame of a leader. Like Tobirama might have been racist, but he had iron frame. He's like my shit.
Overall, would also shut that shit down.
He's like my agenda, my way. That's the way he was. He's very iron framed leader. Maybe his policies weren't the best, like segregation of a race and stuff like that. But he was direct. Now Hiruzen lacked that. Yeah, passive.
It was
so.
It was so bad, Jay, because like that's another thing that's important. Everyone's always like fucking shitting on Tobirama, right, for that. But if you really analyze it, Tobirama actually was a good leader, like you were saying, because when he was there, Clan didn't get killed. There was no one hating each other. Yeah. Nobody was like it wasn't fucking tense or any of that. Like Tobirama hated Uchiha, and he did have some racism and and bias and towards them because for reasonable reasons. Like his brothers died from it. He was in a fucking war for who knows how long with them.
It's understandable.
But he put that aside, which was also like respectable. He put that shit aside and did it all for the good of the village, and realized that there were Uchiha that were also loyal to the village and not just their clan as well, right? The most important core value. And no matter what, if the Uchiha are collaborating, and he realized this, mutual and blah blah, like that's it, everything would be great. And he realized how strong they were and how much of an asset they were. There's just so much pros to them being there. You know what I mean? It's just killing them or having fucking problems.
Yeah.
While Donzo was taking shit to the extreme and making shit worse.
Yeah, he was very, I would say, deceptive. He kind of mentally manipulated Hiruzen because Hiruzen was just fucking retarded.
Yeah.
And didn't have the iron frame to say, no, this is gonna be my way. Tobirama would probably be fucking turning over in his grave if he saw what Hiruzen has done, all the shit that he caused because of his leadership. Minato was direct. Minato was a peaceful person, but he was direct, and he did what had to be. I mean, he slaughtered like thousands of shinobi. That's how direct he is. He does what has to be done. So, yeah, Hiruzen is one of the worst Hokage of all time. He might be the worst, actually. So, the single greatest word.
The bad part about it is Tobirama wouldn't be able to do anything if he wanted to, because Hiruzen would beat his ass.
Yeah,
but,
he's inferior. Yeah.
But no matter what, like leader wise, and blah blah, like Tobirama would never like. But it wouldn't even surprise me if Tobirama would have a political contingency in place, or know how to manipulate the political streams of things to where he could actually get Hiruzen out of the leadership, kind of like what Donzo did. Because think of that, if Donzo was able to do that, why wouldn't Tobirama be able to do it? He's way more fucking intelligent, right? He's he knows, you name it, and I guarantee you that's what would have happened.
Yeah,
he's not going to straight up.
And then Minato growing up, he would have cleaned up those loose ends, especially Donzo. He's a loose end. He would have cleaned that up very quickly.
It would have been Okage right after, but that's what happened. Tobirama would have got Hiruzen kicked out. Pari got Donzo locked up. Wouldn't surprise me.
Oh yeah.
And then had Minato become Okage.
Yeah.
Tobirama was strict. He didn't play around.
Not at all. Yeah, that's why he was a decent Hokage. The best ever is obviously Naruto, but besides that, Tobirama's not a bad Hokage. His one big knock is that he's racist for sure, but I mean, yeah. Kaguya is a dumbass. Yeah, she is. Even if her intention was to save Naruto from chasing Sasuke, it's still a bitch move. Inconsiderate. Yeah, fuck Sakura, man. That shit was hoish behavior. Period. The only stage mode had the only.
Bro, the shit she did with Sasuke too when she got there, bro.
Hoe behavior. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the amount of fucking opportunities she had to knock out something. Like she didn't even have to kill him. She could have just knocked him out. You know what I mean? She has the AP to do it, while he's at his weakest and fatigued. You know what I mean? Like she had all these opportunities. She's over here crying.
Oh my God,
fucking crying, holding the kunai. And then now Sasuke realizes late. And he's like, oh, what? And then he goes to kill her. And then Kakashi's like, fuck, I'm not going to make it in time because him just using MS. And like all this shit. Like she's just constantly being a burden and inconvenience, too.
Yeah. for majority of the storyline, she's an inconvenience.
She drugged her fucking teammates
Yeah,
just to even get her a little one-on-one with fucking Sasuke.
literally.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, that was also fucking stupid ass writing. You know what I
It's
mean? That
horrible.
would have been the one time we could have saw fucking Lee fighting Sasuke. He would have
Yeah,
lost.
that was one of the
That would
most.
have been fucking goated.
Yeah, that was the most 3 or 4 behavior in Naruto history, probably when she
Would have
drugged all her teammates.
Lee inside trying to fight fucking Sasuke, and
Yeah,
Sasuke would have beat all their asses. Lee would have been the only one to give him a little bit of a fight because the gates and everything. Sasuke still would have won, and then they could have done whatever with fucking Sakura. But now they did all that fucking stupid shit.
yeah,
They drug him, or she drugs him, puts him to sleep, and we get to see all the other bullshit she does.
literally.
You know?
Oh, Shinobi with 10 months as a member. Appreciate that, brother.
No,
Appreciate that. Minato is a nice ass savage, pretty much. Yep. Let's see. To show you the difference between Stage Mode and KCM, Stage Mode can sense attacks and movement, can sense people and whatever. Good feats. KCM1 can also sense negative emotions and balance. It's not close. EMS Sasuke and Edo Itachi versus White Mask Obito and Edo Jinchuriki. This is the way I look at it. I actually think that they fail, and here's why. Edo Itachi is, at best, when rationally trying to analyze his scaling, he's somewhere in between the levels of KCM1 Naruto and KCM2 Naruto. He falls within that range. And AMS Sasuke is arbitrarily weaker than him, but relative. Now, what closes the gap between White Mask Obito and Naruto Guy and Kakashi is KCM2 Naruto. That's when the tides change. And also on top of that, Kakashi, being the counter, having the other Sharingan, is what allowed KCM2's comparable speed to hit Obito and actually damage him. So without Kakashi, who was the who was the counter, and without Naruto, who's faster than both this current iteration of MS Sasuke and Edo Itachi, there's a very good likelihood that they fail to defeat Obito. Obito can't seal Itachi, but maybe he can send him to the Kamui dimension at least. Maybe theoretically with the Renegon he can. Maybe there's some sort of sealing jutsu. But if we exclude the fact that he can't seal Itachi and it's just battle, White Mask Obito and the Edo Jinchuriki would beat those
nerfed and fatigued, they absolutely won. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like if it's like full power fucking Obito going, no, there's just no way.
Yeah.
I
People don't remember that or realize that White Mask Obito was contending with KCM2 Naruto and Kakashi and Guy. So
yeah,
and you had the two perfect pieces to the puzzle to beat Obito. KCM2 Naruto, who's faster than EMS Sasuke and Edo Itachi, and Kakashi, who has the other Sharingan. Without that, it's very unlikely that you beat him.
And Guy flat out says Obito was also fatigued because there's a statement where him and Kakashi are discussing why Obito's not spamming Rinnegan abilities, blah blah. And like Kakashi just says like it would take like an enormous amount of fucking chakra in order to control all 6 Biju with visual prowess. Okay, so that's why he's not going to be spamming the Rinnegan because he'd be basically using way more chakra that he's just not in a position to do. Okay, and that's why he's basically, strategizing that way and then, doing what he's doing, performing the way he's doing. Like, they flat out basically just say, like, he's not at fucking full power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's using a crazy amount of chakra. That's why whenever Naruto is in KCM1 only, you know what I mean, and whatnot, or not even at KCM2, that's why Obito is not able to fucking speed blitz and immediately calmly one of them or whatever, because he's fatigued and he's having to deal with multiple individuals saving one of the other. Because every time he is about to fucking calmly one of them, the other saves that person.
Yeah. So yeah, it's more than likely Obito gets the best of that. Is there an argument for the other side? Yeah, there is, but it's a better argument for Obito.
It's more stronger for
Shinobi
Obito.
asked, how about Jaguar versus a Lioness? I think lionesses are bigger physically. Female lion size. I'm pretty sure.
Another thing, you also got the whole narrative and like the data book stuff and whatnot where it says Obito is in a similar line with Edo Madara. He's not stronger than Edo Madara, but he's similar in that ballpark, and that alone should also go to show. You know what I mean?
To answer Shinobi's question, I'd probably go with these jaguars get big too. An individual jaguar, how big can they get? I think they're smaller than lionesses though. No, they're actually pretty relative in size. Lionesses versus jaguars are solitary though, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, they don't work in packs. So I think in a one-on-one confrontation, a jaguar might get the best of them because they're genetically predisposed to be uh, individual predators as opposed to lions that work in packs. So they have different strategies for hunting. I'll probably go with a jaguar to be honest. Let's see here. Gray wolf versus hyena. Hyenas also work in packs, but so do wolves. It's an interesting one. So a gray wolf. Let's see. It's a good one. Who would win a fight? Let's see. Some things comparing their feats on those. One of those can average anywhere from 2 to 4 feet long. Okay. How do hyenas hunt? Obviously, they work in packs. Wolf attributes. I think wolves get a little bigger. I'd probably lean towards the wolves. They're more of the apex in their respective ecosystem. Probably the wolf. Alright, continuing on though. Yeah, I actually think Tobirama was the best Hokage because of how much shit he created. I mean, yeah, the jutsus he created, yeah, for sure. And any Akatsuki besides the Obito and Pain would be all the 5 Kage in the summit if you replace Sasuke with one of them. Could any other Akatsuki member do it? Itachi probably could, healthy. If he was healthy. If he was sick, it would be very difficult. Besides that, I don't think so. Kisame, maybe? Maybe. Besides, after him, no one else is able to do what Sasuke did. Obito and Pain obviously would. Itachi healthy would. Kisame, full power. It's a possibility he could. The Raikage would be the most contentious battle. He'd have to use Samehada. He has great durability. If he could theoretically summon the Water Dome at the 5 Kage Summit, he wins. He'll be just faster than the Raikage. He's faster in water, in his shark form especially.
And water, prison, and Samehada could absorb the Raikage's lightning armor and steal the chakra.
Yeah. So there's a good chance Kisame could. If he can get past the Raikage, he probably beats the rest of them. I think.
And Raikage has Biju's level of chakra, so if he's getting that much chakra, that means Kasame gets stronger, Raikage gets weaker. Same shit. That's why B lost.
Yeah, exactly. Tobirama probably would have killed Danzo and Orochimaru himself. Yeah, he would have. He wouldn't have tolerated their bullshit.
And it's also in character for A, or Raikage to go in V1 first, then V2 immediately.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just saying. So, and that would definitely allow Kasame to start absorbing chakra, whatever. And at that point, it's just getting too late. Now he's getting fucked. And even if he goes V2, Kasame could transform, water prison, and yeah. Like, as crazy as it is, Kasame can be able to beat Raikage. I do think that.
There's an argument he beats him, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially if he gets the water dome off where he's faster than everybody, he's definitely
winning. Yeah, it's just two ways. It's either Raikage speedblitzes Kasame just like KCM Naruto did to him, and then he loses, or Kasame, if he's smart, he does his shit, then he can get stronger and he wins.
Yeah, exactly. That would determine the conclusion to how Kisame does at the summit. If he's able to get past the Raikage, he probably beats everybody else. So, Tobirama is drippy for sure. Oh yeah, he has a lot of drip. Chat, who wins at Nagato and Itachi versus White Mask Obito? We answered that. If Madara was in the Gote 13, which squad would he have led? Madara. His personality is very similar. He's very intelligent. What captain does he parallel? Honestly, he's very similar to Aizen, unironically.
Madara, right?
Yeah, Madara and Aizen are similar in many ways.
Yeah, very similar.
If anything, he would have probably led the same squad. His personality fits the role. He probably would have been a very powerful captain. Yeah, he would have led that squad most likely. I forgot which squad, but
imagine Madara having a holification.
Oh shit, yeah, that'd be broken. Yeah, Madara would be a hell of a Bleach character too, honestly. But
oh yeah, he'd be strong, dude.
Him and Aizen are similar in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's another hot take. I think Killer B shits on the Raikage, and also Kisame beats the fuck out of the Raikage even easier than B.
He shits on Raikage? Whoa!
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know if he shits on the Raikage. They're relative for sure. I don't know if he shits on the Raikage though. I can see arguments for both, but when the Raikage starts to use his full speed, Killer B is like shocked by it, and it seems that he admits inferiority. He doesn't blatantly admit it, but it seems that he can't contend with that. Seems that
He
way.
did like he would like in character he would literally try to save Naruto and he couldn't do anything. Like
Yeah,
they were just different ballpark at that
too
point.
fast. Yeah.
Like he
Uh,
would have won V2, he would have won V1 if anything, and he didn't even do that. And so that to me flat out just shows at that point when Raikage is serious and bloodlusted, he can't do shit.
yeah,
And it
exactly.
also further makes sense because Killer Bee, his whole thing in the village, he always wanted to just get out and leave. Raikage gave him orders that he's not allowed, and basically like if he was stronger enough or whatever, or stronger than the Raikage, eventually B would have had enough and be like, nah, fuck you, and just fought him. And that's blatantly was never the case. Like he knew he was stronger and he couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. The Rikage, it's implied that he's superior. Even their relationship, he seems like the big brother. I mean, you could argue that's just because he's older, but it seems power wise he's superior as well.
Now V1 B is shown to be like superior, especially when they're lariating. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? When they did the little lariat clash and he's in V1 and B's in base and they go whatever, he's able to overpower Raikage. That was
that
impressive.
was impressive. Yeah, that was
I mean,
definitely
but
impressive.
other than that, like that's just it, you know.
Yeah. Um, who's the strongest opponent you guys think the Grandmaster Liam Juicer could work on? Well, it definitely worked on his father, or Garo's father. Right? He did it on him, I believe. Um, I don't know if he'd be able to keep down a Raikage, like the third Raikage. I don't know if that would work. Um, I don't think that'd work.
Gara?
Yeah, what's the strongest
No,
individual?
yeah, lightning would slam right through his shit. It'd be like
Yeah.
Kimari CM2 all over again.
As far as the strongest, who else would it work on? I don't know. I just feel like the Raikage obviously it wouldn't work on. I don't think. I think he tried on the Raikage. It didn't work actually. Also, Mu. I don't think it'd work on him. I think once you get past like mid tier Kage level, he has trouble. Gara during the war. I don't think he's dealing with guys of that
Oh,
caliber.
another thing to mention too, Jay. When Raikai got there with what Killer Bee, and they went to do their lariat combo in Kisame, Raikage also criticizes him and says, "You're still too slow. You need to do better."
Yeah.
And that was Raikage in V1, and B went also V1. But then again, B was fatigued, so that's part of why he didn't do it in his base, and he needed to go V1. Because he just got so fucking drained and beat up from Kasame. But either way, like Raikage also makes a narrative reference right there and then that he's just still not, you know.
Yeah, it's just implied that he's the one. He's the one making B better, making him a better
Yeah.
shinobi. Like he's the superior, his mentor, etc.
And the only one that can deal with the eight tails.
Yeah,
So
only one that could really tame him and the Eight Tails. Base Minato versus KCM 1.5 Naruto. Um,
uh,
if we're
that Naruto
presupposing,
is basically the same.
yeah, if we're presupposing he's arbitrarily stronger than KCM 1, then he'd probably beat Base Minato because base KCM 1's
Yeah.
already comparable to Minato.
Yeah,
So
like with that, yeah, that basically the kid. Like from my knowledge and memory, like he doesn't really show anything to really show that it's like massively different.
yeah,
Um, like the only best thing he has is reacting to Obito's Kamui thing, but then again, he was also doing that in the beginning of the war before, so it's like
yeah,
that's he doesn't really have anything to show that it's like was massive. I think it's still within the same ballpark, meaning it just wouldn't do anything. But that's just me.
yeah. Pretty much, he just has a better chance to beat uh, Minato. So he's some level arbitrarily time stronger. So
No.
even if it's slight. Let's see here. What would happen if Madara never believed in the infinite Tsukuyomi plan and never left the leaf? Zetsu would have to find a different plan to bring Kaguya back. It'd be much more difficult because what Madara served as to Zetsu is a source to make his dream a reality, to bring Kaguya back. Because
Yeah.
he's so powerful that no one could threaten him besides Hashirama. And then that ideology was passed on down to someone else that would become a global threat in Obito. Without Madara being the catalyst, I think Zetsu would have to figure out a different way. I don't know how he would do it. He's fodder himself. It's not like he could force someone to do what he wants. If Madara stayed in the leaf, Konoha would be obviously still the strongest nation on Earth. All other nations would have to follow them. Hashirama and Madara would have to conform to Hashirama because Hashirama would have eventually battled him anyway. Because Madara had a superiority complex, and he
Yeah.
wanted to
And it would have
establish.
just been more in the political aspect of things. It wouldn't be
Yeah,
him like leaving the village entirely and then going on his whole separate
yeah,
agenda. It'd just be more like, nah, I'm gonna be in charge of this
yeah.
village and that type of fight. Yeah.
What would have happened is there's two scenarios. Hashirama would have had to put him down or incarcerate him, or the Naruto and Sasuke dichotomy happens and Madara ends up working with Hashirama. It's like, all right, I'll follow your lead, dude. Just like Sasuke does
Yeah,
now in Boruto. One of those
absolutely, yeah.
things would have happened. There would have been an altercation where Hashirama's like, all right, I lead, you follow. Or Madara accepts that. Um, he accepts that reality and says, okay, I'll be the number two guy. I'll follow what you say. I'll
Yeah.
protect the village. One of those things would have happened.
And,
And
yeah,
Zetsu
and
would
even
have.
if that doesn't happen, Hashirama, I don't even. He definitely wouldn't kill Madara either, because he only was willing to kill Madara because Madara still told him, "I'm going to destroy everything." Blah blah yada yada. He was basically threatening to kill the village, and you name it. So he's like, "Nah, like I'm just not gonna let that happen." And if Madara still cares about the village and his clan, and he just wants to roll over it, he's not gonna kill him. He'll just beat him and then just lock him up. If that wasn't the case, you know.
Yeah. So
Um,
one of those altercations would have happened. Altercation or conformity from Madara. He wouldn't have
yeah,
a choice. Hashirama would have made him if he didn't want to. It would have been an
yeah.
altercation. And Zetsu would have to find a different plan. So uh, Kisame might have trouble with Onuki, but that's the only one. I just think Onuki would be too slow. He has a particle style, but Kisame is just faster than him. What would happen if I just read that? Yeah, full power I think so because not even V1 tailed beast state he's able to push back the Raikage at V1. So even at V2, I feel like if B goes at full power, he still wins. Maybe that doesn't seem implied though. Indra and Ashra might work more like transmigrants than reincarnates, to be honest. Well, it's literally stated they're reincarnations though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Um,
Trying to think. Oh, you know what Zetsu could do, Jay? What he might actually try to do is once Sasuke comes into the scheme of things, he might try to start manipulating him though, because Sasuke is easily
yeah.
manipulatable. You know what I mean? Like, that
Yeah, that's true. If
motherfucker. I mean,
yeah,
that's probably the main direction he would go. But I just, no matter what, Sasuke is never going to be above those like a character. So I just don't know. Like he would have to basically make Sasuke go in a direction, make him fall so low to where he'd be willing to become a Jinchuriki as well, the Ten Tails. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And then
yeah,
go that direction where like it's Sasuke in charge instead. You know?
yeah. Zetsu would have to. It'd be difficult because the two strongest shinobi on Earth are working together.
Yeah.
It's not like he can go out. There's no other shinobi that can challenge
And they're
those
not
two.
gonna let that happen either. They're not
No,
gonna let him take the Biju, seal it in the ghetto, and all that. Yada yada.
no, there's
Like
no way. He wouldn't even get
Sasuke
close.
also doesn't even have Rinnegan.
He wouldn't
That's
even.
also another problem.
He
You
wouldn't even
know?
get close. They would incarcerate him or destroy
Like
Zetsu or
he would
something.
have to give Sasuke Hashirama cells. And then the problem with that is it doesn't like what we do know is it doesn't awaken instantaneously. It took Madara like fucking years upon years to where he's old as fuck to
Yeah,
awaken his Rinnegan.
history
You
would be
know?
rewritten anyways because Madara would have never left the village. Konoha would have developed differently because Madara would have been a part of the history.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that there would never be segregation because Tobirama would have seen Madara and Hashirama as friends. So that never
Yeah.
would have happened. Kizetsu probably would have never got his plan to work. That's probably this never would have came to be.
Oh yeah,
Because
there's just no way.
Momo,
Like
it
no,
would have went to Boruto era where Momo shows up. Maybe then something happens. Momo's like, "Where the fuck is Kaguya?" And they're like, "Who the fuck are you? What
yeah,
are
yeah,
you?"
I can
Yeah.
see that. Yeah, Momo, yeah.
And at that point, if no one has six fast powers, Momo would destroy the Earth because no one has six fast powers and no one can contend with him unless
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
no, yeah, they'd be
yeah,
like yeah, they'd be basically fucked. Like the only way they could make it possible, like if they're able to pull like the five Kage Summit training type vibes. But even with that, we clearly saw that wasn't enough because that's basically where they would be as well.
yeah,
Naruto and Sasuke would just be like them, like the five Kage Summit, the five Kage, to where they'll be strong enough to contend against them. But once they go like full power, they're fucked.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
pretty much. And
They're
the
minimum. If
the Suski get their way anyway, but yeah.
yeah, they win. Yeah,
Um,
Suki.
Akatsuki versus Shinobi Alliance team that Madara soloed. Oh, the Akatsuki would absolutely fucking obliterate that team. Madara
Mhm.
is stronger than all the Akatsuki, but that wouldn't negate the fact that
Really?
yeah, that's fucking crazy. I don't know if I have to restart it or what. See
Be
if we're
like that,
live
bro.
right now. I don't know if we are.
No, I don't think you are because I went to YouTube and it just stopped at like the last thing you said, which is the
Let's see. Oh shit.
yeah, like right there. That's where it ended. Yep.
Yeah. That was just a random ass crash. That's crazy.
You guys can still hear me, but I have his audio muted. So yeah, his thing crashed.
I think I hear us now. It's catching up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think we're live again, folks. I think we've
All
returned. Sorry, my PC literally crashed out of nowhere.
right.
But we're back. I think. Let us know if you could hear us. We apologize for that.
I'll check too, just in
It's crazy.
case.
He said it's back. Okay, someone said it's back.
Yeah, it's back. It's back. Yeah,
Let
it's
me write
back.
in the chat.
All right, we good.
Crash, but we're back.
That's cool that YouTube goes back right where it went instead of having like to do a whole other stream. You know
Yeah,
what I
that
mean?
was that was fucking ass. I don't know what the hell happened.
It's fucking Twitch on the other hand. If
Yeah.
that shit happened, it would have just been a whole other stream. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's the
Apologies,
longest
folks. I
fucking
don't know
shit.
what just happened. I think honestly, I need to invest in a new PC, man. I think this PC started its last days. That was very annoying. Yeah, that was very very annoying.
It'd be like that.
That could be a
At least
clip.
you're not doing that to you on a daily basis, Jay.
Yeah, that was bizarre. It was just a hardware issue because I was talking and then all of a sudden I get a Windows 11 error. I was like, what in the fuck
Bro,
just happened, bro?
you were gone for a hot minute because you were talking and then you stopped and then like next thing you know now you're going in and out like a robot and
Yeah,
I'm like wait Jay like I think something's going on and then you just were gone
that was a
just dead.
bizarre. That was bizarre. Yeah. Sorry, folks.
I wonder if they could only hear me while you were gone then. I don't know if it
Uh,
got that
hmm.
because like I was still talking but I didn't know if I was still coming through even though you
Yeah.
were gone.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. I think in the next few weeks I'm gonna invest in a new PC because that's bullshit. Um,
Yeah.
this PC
Well,
I've done a lot of.
you got a new part though. You just need a
Yeah,
new part then, right?
I'm
Not even
yeah, I'm actually a computer scientist, unlike Seth the Pedo, so I actually know how to program. But what's happened with my PC is I've done a lot of projects on here that take a lot of processing power. Maybe my computer's just starting to die out. I think I've seen some weird issues with it. Um, but yeah, I might invest in a new PC. So that's just unacceptable behavior from the PC. So yeah, it's bullshit.
the way you said that shit is just unacceptable.
Let the people know we're live again, just in case they left. Give me a second, folks. Feel free to keep asking questions, and we'll continue. Apologies once again for that bullshit.
I'll be right back.
All right, let's say live crash, but we are back. Give me a second, folks. Feel free to keep asking questions. That was very bizarre. See here. What clan would you want to be a part of? If I had to choose, honestly, from my own biased perspective, I would choose the Uchiha clan. I believe the Uchiha clan have the most emotional appeal, in my opinion. They have the best aesthetic abilities, such as the Sharingan. Their ability to use Genjutsu is very appealing to me as well. And some of my favorite characters, my very favorite character is an Uchiha, Itachi. My favorite villain's Uchiha. It's a pretty easy pick for me, to be honest, overall. And power-wise, I'd be up there as well. I mean, I'd have a Sharingan. I have a potential of having an MS, possibly even EMS if I, have access to someone else's eyes. So, yeah. I think my personality more so conforms with the Uchiha anyway. So, all right, folks, we are good to go again. Just have to let the people know that we were live. Make sure to hit the like button if you haven't already, folks. Apologies for that delay, though. That was very bizarre. Very bizarre. It's the first time it's ever happened to me on a stream. Very bizarre. If that happens again, I'll certainly be investing in a new PC very quickly. Let's see here. That's what I'm saying, Jace. As I said, KCM 1.5 is Chrome. I'm working with Naruto purposely. Yeah, KCM 1.5 is stronger than KCM 1. That's for sure. It's an arbitrary level time stronger, but it is stronger. Yeah, the Senju have a very light-hearted, optimistic philosophy. That's the typical personality of someone like Hashirama, which is not my personality, to be honest, if I'm being honest. So, if you could mentor 3 ninja, what ninja would you choose? 2 male and 1 female. Mentors. Some of the most best mentor figures in the verse. One would be probably Kakashi. He's just objectively a very good teacher. Very good morals, ethically as well. Kakashi would be one. Two. Number two would be, thinking of all the mentors over the years, possibly would be a good teacher. I mean, Itachi has a lot of wisdom. Can't go wrong with Itachi. So probably Kakashi and Itachi. As far as female, I mean, Tsunade is the best pick by far, I'd say, as far as the females are concerned. Probably Tsunade. Yeah. She has a very high resolve sort of way of going about things. So the will of fire is in her, clearly. Yeah, Naruto hits way hard if they're relative now, and just the ability to sense me into negative emotions and malice actually aid him. Just being an Uchiha wouldn't guarantee power of the Sharingan. Most of the clan was irrelevant fodder and stated that it is rare for them to ever unlock the Sharingan too. That's true, but the Uchiha is my favorite clan, so I'd probably pick the Uchiha. Also, I'd only want to be Uchiha if that was after the massacre. Well, if that aspect is added into the question, then yeah, I wouldn't want to be an Uchiha either. So. But yeah, folks, any questions you may have? I think Batman's busy right now. He should return soon. So super chats get priority. We also do live reactions. So if someone donates, we'll react live as well. Any and all questions, folks. Do you? I think Shinobi had some questions up here that I missed before my PC malfunctioned. Does DBZ deserve a spot in the big three as opposed to Bleach, in your opinion? Honestly, yes. If I have to be honest, Dragon Ball deserves the spot over Bleach. I think Bleach's popularity has grown, but it's not on the level of, Naruto or Dragon Ball, or even One Piece for that matter. I think that Bleach is a growing entity in the anime space. I think the anime animation release will help with that, but it's certainly not bigger than the big three, which Dragon Ball should be a part of, in my opinion. And he also asked Gin versus Toshiro. Gin seems to be implied as one of the top captains, period, in the Gote 13. Toshiro seems to be a captain with much potential, but he doesn't seem to be on the echelon of the top captains like Aizen, Gin, the other squad captains, the one that fought the first seat around car. He's not on that scale. I mean, it blatantly admits that Toshiro is inferior to, I think Shinshui is his name. Shinshui. He says that it's going to take about 100 years for him to surpass me, implying he has the potential. So I think Gin would take Toshiro out, to be honest. Yeah. If anything, if I'm not mistaken, Toshiro had trouble. By the way, yeah, I'm talking about Kid Toshiro, the one in the Iranka arc. I'm not familiar with adult Toshiro yet. But yeah. Alright. Other questions here. Do you predict Aizen may take an anti-hero role at the end of the 1,000-year Blood War? That's a good question. Aizen has very selfish means. I doubt he would have any selfless, reinforced goals, to be honest. I don't think he's going to be an anti-hero. I think he's going to do things a certain way, possibly, where it seems that way, but he's doing it for his own selfish intent. So I highly doubt he'd be an anti-hero. Aizen's personality and character seems to be set in stone, unless I'm incorrect and that changes. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he's still a villain. Let's see here. To be frank, the big three was called that because they were the most popular shonen in the tens. Dragon Ball wouldn't fit there. Really, I'd have to look at the numbers to agree with that. Dragon Ball's very popular, so I'd be surprised if it isn't one of the top three most revered statistically. But I don't know the source, the statistics off the top of my head. So. I would say currently it probably is. Dragon Ball Super statistically is very, very popular. So there's no animations being released, new ones at least, but it's very popular though. But obviously, if the statistics imply Bleach is more popular right now, then yeah, it deserves to be in the top three empirically. So let me make sure Batman's still on the call. He's muted. He's still here though. Just making sure. Yeah, that's crazy. I'd say Naruto can be with the chakrams. Yeah, folks. Any questions you may have, feel free to ask. Any and all questions.
Hey Jay, if you had a pick though between Dragon Ball and Naruto and Bleach, what do you pick?
As far as my
If,
favorite, I would
if like
say
one had
if one had to go, if I had to pick one, as far as if one had to go out of those three,
yeah,
probably, honestly, probably Bleach. It's a tough
that's what
call,
I'm saying.
but yeah,
What
probably
about if
Bleach.
you're forced to pick between Dragon Ball and Naruto?
It's really tough. That's a tough one, honestly. From my own subjective lens, if I had to choose, that's a really tough one.
It is insanely tough, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's
but
really
if you
tough.
pick one, you got to give the reasons. But yeah, that's extremely
Yeah,
hard.
I would say probably. I'd probably pick Naruto over Dragon Ball.
Oh
Probably.
wow,
Yeah, it's tough. I can go either way, but Naruto's more consistent narratively. Um,
gotcha.
it,
I
it,
thought you were gonna have to
yeah,
say Dragon Ball at first.
yeah, I almost did. It's pretty close, honestly. It's really, really close. I'm like neck and neck with those two.
But
Um,
like dead ass, like if you legit had to give one away, you would choose Naruto then.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I don't blame you. That's what I would
Yeah,
do. To be fair,
yeah,
but see, my only reason though is like I've seen obviously way more in comparison.
yeah,
So I have not seen all of the manga either for like Dragon Ball Super currently. You name it, blah blah blah, yada yada. Um, so like, but yeah, no, overall, like, if I had to pick, I'd probably say Naruto too.
yeah, for sure.
It's
Probably,
hard
probably
'cause,
Naruto.
like
Yeah,
Naruto just has like they're both just good in different ways. It's like it's kind of hard to even compare them. That's the
it
problem.
is. Yeah,
They're both just so good in like you know what I mean, like their own ways.
yeah. It's hard to compare the two. They're both
It's
different.
like a crime to compare them. Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
not even.
they have. Yeah, the very premise behind the two are different for sure. I mean, they're
Like, but
both.
then again, like I guess what I've seen overall, like
Yeah,
I guess yeah, Naruto because it just has maybe more like I guess relevance you can compare to. You know what I mean? Like more things you can relate to, like the certain writings, whatnot.
yeah. I
The
think Naruto is
story.
probably, as far as thematically, is better written.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, you could argue Dragon Ball is better written, but even Naruto has good aesthetically pleasing fights. But yeah, I think Dragon Ball might take the cake on that.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely for the
yeah,
fights. Yes,
fights. Yeah.
absolutely. It's
Thematically
just what it is.
Naruto, aesthetically Dragon Ball. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah,
And it's like at that point, which one do you prioritize more? And like, don't get me wrong, I love fighting, but if that's all we're mainly get, like, you know what I mean? Then I'd rather get the other because you just get more story emphasis and more character development,
yeah.
et
It's
cetera.
more appealing. Yeah, it's just more
Yeah,
appealing. So probably Naruto slightly. It's a tough one though.
it is.
Dragon Ball is long finished by the time any of them started airing. Yeah, but Dragon Ball has great replay value despite it being
It
done.
does.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
even to this day, Dragon Ball Z and the old arcs of Dragon Ball are still revered. So despite it being done
Yeah.
airing, it doesn't really matter. Um, Based on current knowledge, who would win in a Royal Rumble between all the captains in Bleach, excluding Yamamoto? Probably Kenpachi. Kenpachi has untapped potential that I hear is extremely impressive later on in the Blood War arc. So I'd probably say Kenpachi is probably the most if he's able to get to his full potential before someone kills him.
Yeah.
Probably Kenpachi. Yeah, based off my current knowledge. Obviously, if we put
Gotcha.
Aizen in there, Aizen fucking slams everyone. But Aizen's he went rogue. So yeah, Naruto is more complex while DB is more simple. Yeah, thematically it's
Oh
more
yeah, for
complex.
sure,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Power scaling system. I mean, Dragon Ball keeps up. It's very good. I mean, there's more key and blasts. There's not a. I would say there's more versatility in
It's
power.
more straightforward. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
chain
more
scaling.
straightforward. Naruto's power scaling system is more intricate for sure. There's like
Yep.
a whole variety of plethora of jutsus out there. While Dragon Ball is more like, all right, you have this power level, you're stronger. I mean, there are some iconic powers like the Kamehameha. Vegeta's Gallic Gun.
Yeah.
Gohan's powers. I mean, he uses Kamehameha. He uses an iteration of it. Krillin's Destructo Disc, Piccolo's Beam. There's a few iconic powers, but there's so many in Naruto. You can list them. There's tons of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, what are the worst debaters y'all have ever fought? The worst debater? There's this one guy that I actually have a personal problem with in real life. I debated him. It's still recorded. I'm never gonna take it down because that guy's a fucking pussy. But Iron Man versus Batman. He's the worst debater I've ever faced. Publicly, at least. There's been some real dumbasses like privately, not just through voice channels but text as well. I would say, oh shit, $10 from Chunk Striker. I appreciate that, brother. Or Psyker, apologies. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and answer that real quick. We'll get back to the other questions. But yeah, like I said, this one guy named Wildcat, most dog shit debate I've ever faced. And
Yeah, it was a hilarious debate.
yeah,
It's basically Jay slamming the dude.
yeah,
What's it called?
I don't like him at all. So I'm not really classless towards anybody, but that guy's a fucking. I have a personal problem with him for personal reasons. So
Goddamn.
like in real life, we would scrap, and actually, it wouldn't be a scrap. He'd get his ass whooped. Like he knows that too. So
Imagine he like comes into your stream right now. He's like, "What the fuck you say?"
I mean, I would record it. Dead ass. We could box. We could box. Fuck the debate shit. I'd beat the
Bro, Jay posted on his YouTube. Batman versus Iron Man real life.
I'd beat his ass. Let's see here. Give me a second, folks. Chung, we're gonna answer your questions very quickly. I gotta give you your props and put you on the screen real quick. Oh, what happened to the? Apologies for that. But apologies, Sir Goats. Your thing disappeared because I had to restart the stream. Go ahead and do that real quick. And then here's this one from Chung. We'll go ahead and answer that as well. Can you live react to mistakes? It's purposely misspelled, by the way. It's a philosophical breakdown about mistakes and its history with humanity. Let's see. If it's not too long, we can do that. It's purposely misspelled. Okay. Let's see here. As long as no copyright issues either. Let's see.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, let me go ahead and copy and paste your comments. I don't have to type.
And to be fair, you have no strikes in your channel, so like you could technically go the full route and even appeal it if necessary. And you'd be surprised. 9 out of 10 times you actually win.
Yeah.
But even if they still fucked you over and said, "Oh no, fuck you, one strike."
Oh, is it this music
you'd
video?
be fine.
Oh no, wait, no, I don't think that's what it is.
Because basically, if you ever get one strike about copyright, it's a freebie. Like all you have to do is do the copyright school. It takes like a minute to do, literally dead ass a minute. It's just bullshit, and then they take it off right away. So
yeah, I think I can't find it on YouTube. Let me see.
After that, though, if they give you a strike, you gotta wait like 90 something days.
Yeah, I got a strike a long time ago. It's been a long time, but that erased after 90 days. So.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It was for a reaction though. It wasn't like serious though. So.
Bruh.
Yeah,
and I guarantee you though, you got hit, but everybody else could fucking react to it.
Yeah.
So how does that make sense, bro?
Yeah, I can't find the video. If you have the link, you could put it on the chat. I can't find what you mean. There's a song called "Mistake," but I know we can't react to that because that's gonna get copyrighted for sure. But it's not spelled the way you said it is. It's from the Vsauce channel. Oh, Vsauce. I know Vsauce. Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't copyright our shit. Let's see.
You're more than likely gonna get copyright. I'm just being real with you.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times. Like unless they're not big or known, then you won't.
Oh yeah, Vsauce.
But
is
if they're known, then yeah, no, you're getting hit with copyright.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any Vsauce
You'll
reaction.
Have to dispute it.
If there's Vsauce reaction channels, then let's see.
Oh, they're hard.
Oh wait, there is some guys reacting to his stuff here.
Yeah, no, trust me, there's reaction channels for a lot. It's just the problem is YouTube is fucking stupid.
Yeah, what I'll do, maybe to limit it, so we'll watch the video. Maybe I could put like a filter over it or something.
Yeah. Because best case scenario, they don't do anything. Worst case scenario, you'll have to dispute it. If that doesn't work, then the only option you have is appealing it, and that's a hit and miss. It either works or it doesn't. So.
Yeah. Unohana could slam current Kenpachi though. Yeah, I forgot about Unohana. She's powerful. Like I said, if he can't get to his full potential, then one of the stronger captains will probably beat him, like Senshui or Unohana. So
like Jay, that's why I couldn't do Boruto anime reactions on my YouTube.
Yeah,
because
they're way
everybody
stricter.
else could fucking do it, but me, I get hit with copyright and then I get a strike if I even appeal it.
Oh yeah, they're really strict on that.
Yep.
All right. Let's see what I can do. All right, so I have it on the screen. See if you guys could see that. Let's see. Actually, so I don't have to delete everything else. Let me put it at the top. Mistakes. I found the video. Maybe I could transform. Let's see what I could do to do this. Blending mode. Oh shit, that looks awful. I don't want to do that. As long as I transform it enough, we should be okay. Lighten. Alright, I think I'm gonna leave it as is. Let's see. We'll go for it and see what happens. So this one's called Mistakes. Alright, folks. Let me know if you can hear right, by the way, as well. I'll put it like medium volume here. Let me know if you can hear it. Alright, let's watch it.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here. The title of this video is misspelled in honor of mistakes. Mistakes are everywhere. They surround us like air. To err is human. Faults, flaws, faux pas, fumbles, and fallacies are as much a part of who we are today as the stuff we've gotten right. For instance, if a knight knocked your knuckle or knifed your knee, why would there be so many K's? Well, the K's are silent by mistake. The original Old English forms of these words were pronounced with k sounds: knife, knight, knee. But that's a bit of a mouthful to say, and because reading and writing weren't as common hundreds of years ago, people just pronounced words the way they wanted to regardless of spelling. Spelling is fun. Warren G knows what I'm talking about. In the 4th verse of his What's Next, he asks, what's next? What's next? What's N-X-E-T? Spelling isn't the only thing we get wrong. The history of science is a graveyard of dead and abandoned ideas.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Fritz Machlup coined the phrase half-life of knowledge. The amount of time it takes for half of the knowledge within a field to be superseded by new, better ideas or to simply be shown untrue. Donald Hebb famously estimated that the half-life of knowledge in psychology is just 5 years.
Wow.
Humans are awesome, don't get me wrong, but we tend to believe that what we currently think we know about the universe is reasonably correct, even though statistics aren't on our side. Previous generations incorrectly thought the exact same thing about what they used to think was true. My favorite examples of the ubiquity of mistakes are production errors in popular songs. They're like humbling Easter eggs just waiting to be found. For instance, Buffalo Springfield's For What It's Worth. 26 seconds in, the B in the lyric Beware is clipped, as is the P in People at 1:24. Once you hear the mistake, it's tough to unhear it. In Hey Jude, Paul McCartney misses a chord, and if you listen closely, you can clearly hear him say, "F***ing hell." Seriously, it's in the actual song. Go listen to it. In fact, there's an entire website that chronicles mistakes in Beatles songs. Take a look at this 700-year-old prayer book. A monk wrote it on fresh, clean paper. I'm kidding, of course. He scraped the ink off an older manuscript, cut the pages, and rotated them before writing all over them. A mistake? Well, kind of. Recent multispectral images of the prayer book have revealed that the old manuscript he erased was a previously unknown copy of a work by Archimedes. It was called The Method and laid out the heart of calculus thousands of years before Newton and Leibniz. If that one monk hadn't erased that one book, would we be hundreds, thousands of years mathematically and technologically more advanced today than we currently are? It's hard to say. All that is certain is that we would continue to make ridiculous mistakes, like the Mars climate orbiter. This $327.6 million expedition burned up in the red planet's atmosphere because when calculating flight maneuvers, NASA used the agreed upon metric units while Lockheed Martin used the imperial system. This is Neil Armstrong taking humankind's first steps on the moon. It's about the best footage we have. The original tapes containing the highest quality recording of that moment have been lost. They were probably recorded over by later test missions.
10 years ago, Sergio Martinez became lost in the woods while hunting outside of San Diego. Hoping to attract the attention of rescuers, he lit a small fire. But that fire quickly got out of control and became a giant cedar fire. It destroyed 300,000 acres of land, 2,322 homes, and killed 15 people.
The man carrying a wounded soldier in this painting, based on a photograph taken during World War I, is Henry Tandy, an English recipient of the Victoria Cross. 4 years after the event in this image, Tandy caught a wounded German soldier in his gun sights, but rather than kill the man, Tandy took pity on his wounded state and spared his life. The German he allowed to live was this man. Later, the man whose life he spared wore his mustache shorter, but still had the same name, Adolf Hitler. In 1918, did Henry Tandy miss a chance to kill Hitler? Detailed research has found that the exact days their units were in the same location don't quite match up. The story is apocryphal, but what is known is that Hitler owned a copy of the painting of Tandy. And in 1938, when meeting with Neville Chamberlain, Hitler pointed to Tandy and told Chamberlain, "That man came so close to killing me in 1918 that I thought I should never see Germany again." So, who's wrong? Maybe Hitler confirmed the story merely because he hoped to make up extra evidence that Providence had kept him alive to pursue his goals. Either way, someone is mistaken. Missed opportunities are a bummer. Obsessing over them is not healthy, but regret is a powerful emotion. How do you deal with regret, with guilt? Can you? In the early morning hours on a bench outside a hotel in Anaheim this summer, Zay Frank told me something I am going to paraphrase. I love this metaphor. Stuff in your past is like a carving on the bark of a sapling. Over time, the scar, the carving, won't go away. Because of the way trees grow, it won't go up or down much either. It'll just stay right where it began. It might even get darker, but it won't get bigger. You, however, can. You can keep growing, doing more things, more branches, being more things. The wound won't get smaller, but you can make it a smaller part of who you are. Maybe regrets are like that. They stick around forever like arbor glyphs. Or maybe they make like a tree and leaf, a red or purple leaf in the autumn. As days get shorter and chlorophyll production decreases, the yellow and orange carotenoids, which are always in leaves, appear as the green fades. But red and purple leaves are the interesting ones. As winter approaches, it would seem to be a good time for trees to conserve energy, but some trees do the opposite. Instead of giving up, they spend extra energy producing anthocyanins to turn their leaves red and purple hues. These colors protect their leaves from sun damage before their nutrients can all be used, and may also be a defense against insects looking for a parasitic home. A way for the tree to tell the insects, yes, I am in part dying, but not without a fight.
That's a smart adaptation.
Still very much vital. Drought and even tourniquets applied by man can bring about these colors prematurely. When you look at beautiful autumn colors, you are looking at stress. But the bigger the fight the trees put up, the more energy they put into their defenses at the very end, the more brilliant their colors will be. Winter will eventually come, but scientifically, the brightest, deepest, most remarkable colors come from not giving up too easily or quickly. And as always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's it. Alright, we're definitely pausing that. Is it copyrighted? Interesting clip. Seems like the purpose from what I can extrapolate of that video is sort of, it's a philosophical discussion, but at the same time he relates what mistakes could be to some sort of biological explanation, what they serve. Oh shit, Batman with a renewal of membership. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's an interesting discussion. The idea of mistakes, right? What purpose do they serve, right? On the surface, we might say, well, mistakes come to life simply because of imperfection, but what Vsauce seems to be implying from the video is mistakes are present in our reality to evolve. Mistakes serve as a catalyst for evolution. And the tree example is a good one, right? Despite the death of the tree during the fall season taking place, there's an adaptation that's been put in place because of that flaw or mistake of design, which is it's not going to go down without a fight. That's an interesting adaptation, actually. And when you think of humanity, mistakes could serve a similar purpose. If anything, evolution happens, I call it pseudo-evolution, happens even within your own lifetime. Your own body evolves as well. You know, I think Vsauce illustrated that pretty well. Pretty interesting video, though. It makes you think. You know, so. Well, yeah, folks, any questions you folks may have here, feel free to ask. And of course, make sure to hit the, where's it at? Like button if you haven't already. Greatly appreciated. We'll go a little longer here. It's been a pretty good stream. Appreciate all the donations as well. Again, apologies for the malfunction. Hardware malfunction, that is.
The video was really interesting, though.
Yeah,
really think about.
Definitely interesting. It makes you think if mistakes serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, like mistakes are more than just, oh, I'm imperfect, so I messed up. Maybe the idea of messing up serves an evolutionary purpose. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so maybe like cheating on your wife or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
This
definitely.
is destined to be evolution.
Yeah, I think there's more than meets the eye in reality. Things that we perceive, you know, so something as simple as a mistake could have a much greater purpose, so biologically even.
Yeah, no, it was very intriguing. It's an interesting way to analyze it, basically.
Yeah.
The concept of mistakes.
Yeah, it makes you think for sure. Oh, but yeah, folks, any questions you may have?
We've all made mistakes, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Small, big, large, whatever.
Inevitably, we all have and will, so can't avoid it. Any questions
If you
at all?
somehow
Folks?
have any one of those rare bunches, you will eventually.
Yeah, even if you're one of the most talented people on earth, you're gonna make a mistake. So.
Yep.
All right, folks. Any questions you folks may have, feel free to ask here. This channel is goated. Yeah, it is. Vsauce is a good channel. Any final questions here, though, folks? And to top it off, I guess we could discuss, since it's one of the topics, the Destiny versus Rollo debate. I know it's been pretty popular in the space. Now, the first debate they had wasn't in person. It was through Zoom.
Yeah.
And Rollo definitely was defeated in that debate. He was very emotional, which is out of character for him. Destiny got the better of him. Even if the premise could have been debated, Rollo didn't do it very well, simply put.
Yeah, that's like Rollo was correct, but he wasn't debating it or advocating for it correctly. That was the problem.
And then when they met in person, when they met at Fresh and Fit's studio there, it was more of a discussion. It really wasn't even a debate after a while.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, but overall, Destiny's a decent debater, so is Rollo when he's not emotional. Um, the red pill seems to be evolving in interesting ways.
Really?
Yeah, there seems to be more factions now. Like Tristan Tate tweeted the other day, like, "Oh, I'm definitely not red pill," and he put a picture of Destiny and Sneeko. Like he doesn't agree and want to conform to those kind of people. It's bizarre.
Bruh.
Yeah, it seems like red pill is more divided now. It's not necessarily a good thing, but I
That goes
guess
into the whole concept of like humanity's just thinking and and our understanding of things. It's always so excuse me, it's always so complex, and everybody's just so different. Even if you're still like under the same bridge in a sense, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's really really interesting. But obviously that could be for the good and bad. And overall, whenever you start getting diversity like that, it's not. It's in times just gonna basically escalate. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna be good either.
yeah,
So.
it's bizarre. The red pill, I think, has a good purpose, but just like any other ideology, it can be exploited and used for the wrong reasons.
Yep.
And guys like Tate are trying to use it for the right reasons. They definitely don't agree with the ones that use it for the wrong reason,
Yeah.
which is in all ideologies. Even religions are used in the wrong ways to exploit. So,
Basically.
yeah.
What do you
Yep.
mean? What do you mean, Jay? Tate's evil. He's done all these things to women and this and that and blah blah blah. Have you not heard? Have you not seen these YouTube videos as well that say all these things about him?
Yeah, it's hilarious that people have no evidence of what they're claiming. They're just saying bullshit. So, not even the professionals that are trying to find dirt on him could find it. So, because there is none. So.
Well, that's the funny thing is like, there's this YouTube video that I've not watched yet because someone sent it to me and told me to check it out, and it would prove that he is a very horrible shit
Oh
person,
my
that
god.
he's actually done heinous crime or something or whatever, blah blah. Well, okay, sure. And then like I literally would start watching the first couple minutes. I'm like, dude, like this is all just like literally just quotes of words and them saying it's him saying this, yet it's not proving of him saying it. And
Yeah.
yada yada yada.
If
Like I don't.
The Romanian justice system hasn't been able to prove it, well, how come some random ass loser could prove it? Get the fuck out of here.
I mean, like, and then not only that, like, I also even told him, like, and for one, too, like, there's no context being explained or nothing either. Like, for all I know, like, let's say this was legitimate and this was a quote that he made. The only thing that would make this valid in a sense is, like, if it was going along with, with what people, like, I don't know why, but people like to think this, but, like, how, like, people have, like, weird turn-ons when it comes to the whole concept, like, they think they're
Oh,
being the R word, basically.
yeah.
What's it called? And basically, like, that's just, I don't know, for some reason people dislike that stuff or whatever.
It's
But
weird.
that's what the quote was basically fixated on, was Tate basically advocating that he likes the R word woman and this and this and that and the whole nine, and like there's something wrong, blah blah. It was just like a weird ass quote that was there that apparently was said by him or whatever.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is, like, for one, like, I don't know any of the context of why this is even being brought up to begin with, even if it was said or not. Two, like, fucking, there's still nothing to prove or show that he's actually, like, they didn't even show a video of him saying it. It's just a fucking
It's
words in the
bullshit.
screen and quoted.
That would be all over the internet if he actually said that. That's bullshit.
Yeah, so like overall, like it's just immediately just getting 2 or 3 minutes in, it's like, come on, like this is already just blatant bull, but
Yeah,
okay,
it's bullshit. Um,
Um,
why do you think what's up with anime being cool with everyone nowadays? Anime is definitely more and more appealing to the masses. It's infiltrated Western civilization, the States, the UK. That's a good thing, obviously. It's
not
building
to mock a woman, by the way.
it's building a huge popularity and a huge fandom that's on a global scale now. And it's really appealing. I mean, from Naruto to Dragon Ball to JJK, just very appealing narratives that sort of just really resonate with people, and it's a pretty special thing. Stories in general have always resonated with people since the beginning of time. Obviously, now we can animate these stories and put them on visual media. Back then, it was stories from elders that would literally come out of their mouths. Then it became, scribed stories that were on paper or ink.
Yeah.
Then it went to rudimentary films like black and white films. Then it got to animation, and now we're here at high definition animation where these stories can really come to life. It's very appealing. Stories will always sell. There will always be a market for stories, whether it's comic books, anime, reality TV, whatever the hell it may be. There'll always be a market for that. Humans are inherently curious. Humans inherently want to appeal to something. They want to relate to something. They want to attach to something. Because humans are instinctually sociable. They're instinctually tribal. So they want to cling to something so that they feel represented. So that's why anime is such a global force now. But yeah.
No, what's also really funny though is are you talking about anime like and all the positivity and the pros of it? Like there was this video that I came across. I don't remember where exactly, but it came out of nowhere. And apparently there's been a trend of like modern women where like they're actually like fucking demonizing any men that if you do like anime, like you're a problem and this and that.
Oh my god.
But all this crazy ass shit. And like the girl's like talking and ranting, being a fucking moron. And she's like, why would you watch anime when I'm right here? Like I should be your attention
Oh
and this
yeah.
and this. Yeah, yeah. And then next thing you know, like after her saying all that bullshit, the guy edits it and makes it like it was fucking hilarious. He's basically making another like shut the fuck up bitch, and he just shows like all the epicness of all these animes of why we love it and shit.
Yeah, I think
It was funny as fuck.
in my Discord I posted that. It was pretty sick. Yeah, it was.
Oh, I think it was. Oh, yeah. By the way, yeah, it might have been yours then. I don't know.
I was like, yeah, I guess we're all rocking red flags to these hoes.
Yeah, literally. That's yeah. I think it was you that actually posted it. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this
It's
shit,
like,
bro?
bitch, I'll be a red flag then. I'd rather be.
That's actually funny.
I'd rather like anime than be a fucking hoe. I'll tell you that.
I'm trying to look at my YouTube history just now. I was like, where the fuck did I see this shit at?
Yeah, it was this.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, it's fucking. It's hilarious. The girls have a problem with that. I'm like, yeah, you should. You have a problem with
I
me
know.
watching
You want to know
anime?
what I immediately did after I saw that show? I was like, oh, really? Off to the streets. Bye.
Shit, I wouldn't give a damn. I'd be like, well, fuck you then, bitch. I'm not quitting
Shit
shit.
was insane.
Yeah. But yeah, folks, I think one more question. We'll give a couple more minutes and we'll depart. Been out at over 3 hours. Been a pretty good stream. Appreciate all the donations and questions as well. Next week, it's possible that we'll do a call-in show for your entertainment. Hopefully some individuals that want some confrontation join. Give you guys some entertainment. And either that or we're going to do a tier list montage where you guys just donate and we do whatever tier list you guys want. Whether it's anime, something as random as your favorite candy, your favorite drip, whatever. We might do that as a stream as well. But we all want to be present for that, so Shinobi be included for that one. By the way, I forgot to say I translated the Rakaga data book scan and it actually said traveling at the speed of light. I can share the data book scan with the translation in Discord. Yeah, I already know he's bare minimum sub-relativistic to speed of light. Yeah, that's not news to me. Yeah, he's definitely at least relativistic. If not, that blatantly is the speed of light. So.
Yeah.
But what I've learned about Japanese translations is that they can vary.
Yes.
Like the expansive Truth-Seeking Orb data book that someone asked me about, the translation can vary. The best source you can go to is probably fucking Kishimoto himself. Which is not possible.
That's the problem. The fact that that the translations can be, you know what I mean, like A, B, or C, is a problem because then when it comes to the transparency of it, you can't actually dictate what the correct scaling is, right, or the correct interpretation. Yeah. So that's a big fucking problem. So then you have to just resort and go back to all the feats that we have or other statements that can maybe further collaborate with whatever notion you're trying to convey. And if it goes to that, then stick to that way. But if you can't, you have this whole translation and it's saying something otherwise, it's more likely probably not the correct translation then, you know?
Yeah, it seems like the Japanese language is ambiguous. Like the linguistic, it's intricate, which is a good thing, but it's hard to translate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's hard to translate it. It seems that the way you pronounce things, the way you phrase things, if you're not a Japanese speaker, when you're reading a translation, it could vary. It's kind of interesting.
And that's what I always tell everybody, like, be careful when using translations, too. Like, make sure it's not contradicted by feats and the statements that are in the manga and anime. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's the most important thing right off the whip. You know what I mean? Because if you have a translation and it's and you think it's, like, saying a whole other thing that's just not really, like, this is not blatantly presented at all. And, you know, because what a lot of people try to do nowadays is use translations to collaborate it with rat tactics, you know what I mean, or sophist tactics, you know? And it's just annoying. Like that shit's annoying. But
yeah, people will exploit the the contentiousness of translations
Yeah,
to appease their rat premise or whatever premise they may have. It's
exactly.
disingenuous for sure. Whatever Kishimoto puts out, I take as not not the holy preacher, because he's definitely using hyperbolic statements at times. But if
Yep.
he puts out translations of the data books, obviously I'll follow them. But when people try to argue to me what the translation is, it's hard to confirm or deny. So
Yeah,
let's
and
look at
then
the
at that
narrative.
point, you just have to accept it's contentious and basically equal interpretation, right? Like, it could be
Yeah.
this or this.
The best you
And
can
at
do is
that point,
just
it's
look at the narrative
whatever.
itself, what physical
Yeah,
feats are accomplished. So
exactly.
yeah,
And
like
if you
the
can't accept that, and you're still going to be stubborn and say, no, well, this is the correct translation and it has to be this and this, then you're just a dishonest
yeah,
dickhead.
this
Like,
it's
that's all
dishonest.
it is.
Yeah, it's definitely disingenuity. Yeah, it's not being legitimate. So, but yeah, folks, I think it's gonna wrap it up. Been at it for over 3 hours. Been a pretty good stream. Good questions. Very Naruto heavy in this one. So we enjoy you guys coming in. We appreciate it. Next week is either gonna be it's gonna be a tier list montage, or we're gonna do
What?
or a call-in show, which is gonna hopefully be entertaining for you guys.
Bro.
So yeah, folks, hope you guys enjoyed, and we shall see you next time. Stay classy, folks.
Peace.